Good morning, traders. How we doing out there? Money Mitch is back in the house and ready to make some money. Well, guys, I'm a little refreshed and the markets went crazy on short squeeze alert. Yes, we're seeing stocks right now, guys. I have a list and one stock already rocking and rolling here. So you know what that means. It's time to start the show. Let's just kick things off. We'll get right to the action. We'll take a look at what's moving out there. We'll get into the playbook, the sunrise report. Money Mitch is back, ready to lead you guys in this market. And man, GoPro? Ooh. Did you guys see that move in Kohl's yesterday? And we get a big Japan deal. So we got a lot to talk about. And of course, mega cap tech this tonight. Guys, this is it. This is the big push into earnings. We get it tonight starting off here. We'll be taking a look at those types of stocks. GoPro now pushing from 210 now towards 240s almost. And this is the stock that, man, I wanted to nail right here out the gates here, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Let's just get things going here. We'll take a look at the action. We'll go to the overall market also, but look at this little rip in GoPro right now. I was waiting for it, looking to try to trade this right by the show time. And we did put this on our playbook. So if you guys see that this morning, that's what it's all about, right? Always keeping you guys up to date. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but take a look at this move here. GoPro getting the big rip higher. And we'll look to see if it can continue making a move. Can it continue lifting above the 240s here? Nice little pattern. Of course, if you look at the 15-minute will show this really well. Nice little flag pattern, made up one, down one, up two, down two, up three, just held that up three. Now coming back through that 210. There's the push to 240s. And the short squeeze party is on, guys. We'll be taking a look at different names, of course. KSS with the big move yesterday, but they could move today. And there's others, right? PLAC. We got more on the list. Let's get to that list. Let's get into our short squeeze potential list today. This is today's playbook, and let's get to it. Money Mitch is back, guys. All right, guys, and look at GoPro now, 244. The push is on, guys. So we'll go through some of this list really quickly. Let's go to D-Nut now as we take a look at some Krispy Kreme. And this one looks primed to go right now. So G-Pro just went. So let's get ready to maybe trade D-Nut here off of this kind of momentum, right? So I see that little move right there. We just got a little bit of a push. Let's see if we can get in here. Up one, down one, up two, down two, up three. Just had the recent down three at 240s. So willing to go ahead and get a starter here. Let's get in. Let's get this starter. See if this really wants to start going. There we're in, guys. We are long on this name right now in front of you guys live right here. 200 shares long right there off the 556. What am I trading this? Well, it's a short squeeze potential stock. We just got another short squeeze potential stock to lift. Now I'm seeing this one set up for the move. Let's see if we can get a breakout here. Start to get the move back above this. You can see the trend line, right? This is beautiful, guys. Beautiful pattern here and trading live right in front of you guys. Where else do you guys get this? There's the pop, $25 up already. Let's see if we can get this up there towards the 580s. That's going to be the first area that we'll look to get towards the target. That's going to be at least like $50, but we can rip above that towards 600. We can actually add on a little bit of a pullback here. It's looking really good here. So let's see if we get a small pullback here into our level or slightly below 550s and look for a little bit of a launch into the 580s and above. Good looking trade here. Let's get to it. D-Nut trading it live in front of you guys on the playbook action. And there it is, just as we talk about it, 576 starting to go. So, hey, I didn't trade it too big because it is pre-market, but hey, this is looking good here, guys. Getting the start move. Let's get to more of these stocks, and we can talk a little bit more about these. Let's go to the next one that I want to give you guys. Next one up is going to be Hertz. Don't get hurt and in the Hertz, man. And Hertz going higher. I'll look for this one to kind of get the breakout here, guys, above the $8 spot. So $8 to watch on Hertz. You can see it on the daily chart too. This stock has had short squeezes before, high short interest. Back above $8 is what I'm looking for on Hertz. We'll see if that one can get moving there, right? So you guys can see the setup there. A push above 8 would be that alert there. We'll set that alert. We'll keep it moving. We'll get back to the stock right now that I'm trading, but I want to get to some of these really quickly before we're done here. Rocket on the pullback here, guys. It was up there to $20. It's pulled back here, but it could make another lift. From what I'm seeing here, I saw a little bit of a push back, right? A little bit of a squeeze push back here. I want to see if it can come back and try this area back into like the 1680s, then cutting back through the 17s. But this one definitely on the radar for a move back towards 20. We'll see what happens there. All right, last one I want to give you guys is Tilray, and this was in the cannabis space, but also high short interest. And we can go into certain lists. We're going to go also to a website that I like. We'll look at different short interest stocks. So if you guys have a list or some names that you guys are watching today, throw them up in the chat. We'll take a look at that. Tilray, another one here, kind of trading up there to 83 cents. The reason I like this one is that 83 cents, right? So a lot of times these love to go to $1. And we're right there. We could have a slight pullback and then a move higher above $1. So I like this name. We'll see if it can get back up there. And now time to get back towards our trade here in D-Nut. Yes, I'm trying to get some icing on the cake this morning. Who knows? Maybe go buy myself a dozen donuts after, of course, we get a nice trade here. I'll tell you what, I make over $100. I think I'm ordering some donuts today. Let's get to the action. Let's make some donuts in D-Nut here. All right, how we doing out there? What's up? What's up? The Glaze is out there. Joey, it's good to be back with you. Kevin, you know what's up, man. I can't wait to have you on. Looking forward to seeing more of the green team. Let's get to the action. We'll see if this D-Nut can really get going. This is one of my favorite patterns. It actually made a good pattern in G-Pro, right? So G-Pro just got up there towards what, 247. So a lot of times I'm looking for those pushes to resistance, right? And pullbacks, about 3 waves, right? So 3 pushes up, pullbacks. And on that third pullback, we're looking for the breakout. And now we can use that support as a hard stop area and look for this to go. All right, and we're starting to get this move back, a little bit of a pull back in D-Nut here. Going to give you the opportunity to go for the add. I'm really looking for it to slightly undertick here, go towards like the 550, which would bring us right to the trend line right there. So let's see if this even slightly ticks red for a second, and then we'll go ahead and hammer it. This opened up at 553. The slight tick red would be like 550. If it just gets ripped on right here, well, it could get going. It just got rebought up there. There were some buyers that step up there in the 560s. Let's see if it just starts to push here. I don't mind adding 100. It looks good here towards the 580s. Let's see if we start to get towards the 575s. Then I can start looking for a lift towards the 580s. We can add 100 shares there. So getting it ready here, the order. Of course, it has to be limits in the pre-market, so you got to be careful out there. What's up out there, guys? 4th-time breakout is a nice strategy. Yes, it's what I look for all the time. I call it the rule of 3, Joey, but you could call it whatever you want. That's the fun nut, the fun times. And yes, these nuts. What's up out there, Rando? How we doing? Rando, how's your mom doing, really, man? I there's very few moms out there that I look after in the trading game, but Rando's mom is one of the best mom traders out there, and there needs to be a mom trading group, and Rando's mom needs to lead it. I think that's what we need to do. What's going on, guys? If you guys have a trade that you guys are watching this morning, let me know in the chat. We'll go to the sunrise report in just a second. That will also give us some things out there. Let's keep things going. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. All right, guys, let's see what else we can come up with. What else we can make some money with. Here it is on that pullback. We're not coming back to that level of 550. I'm not going to tell you that 577, 580. I'll add towards a 550 pullback here. Looking for a rip higher, but going to be smart, right? We'll see what happens here in the pre-market. And of course, we can talk about different stocks. We'll go to the sunrise report now and take a look at what's moving in the market this morning. If you guys got a name you guys are watching, definitely smash it up. Laugh out loud. Whenever I talk to my mom about trading, she tells me to get a real job. Well, tell her that Rando's mom is out here killing it, making cruises in a daytime. So, hey, Joey, I don't know about you, but I'm sure everyone's mom wants to go on a cruise. Yep. Got to enjoy it. Rando saying it's a real funny story. If you guys ever have me on the show, I'll tell you about it. She just started trading at 80. Dude, it's not even when, it's if we have you on the show, when we have you on the show, Rando. So hey, the door's open, my friend. I'm officially calling it out. I want you and your mom on. So if we can set this up, Randy, it would be an awesome interview. I know I would love to be a part of it. I know Michael would too. So definitely smash the like. We'll definitely be enjoying that. And maybe we'll show Joey's mom the interview and tell her, hey, if she's starting at 80, you could do it too, right? Hey, we all want a little bit of extra. And why not have a way of making a little bit of extra, right? I'll tell you one thing, guys. I just came back from the beaches, right? From a really, really nice vacation. Probably one of the best vacations I've ever taken. And I can tell you that doing those types of moves really will make your life, right? Experiences. Let's go make some money and let's get some more experiences. All right, guys, we'll see what happens with this D-Nut trade. Is pulling back closer towards that 550. I'm waiting for some size to come in here. I see some size back here, but it's really not too big size at 560s. I'm looking for a little bit further back down there, looking to see some size really come into tape. Right now I'm seeing about 9,000 shares went through there at 560. So that's a good size there. When do I see this? I look at this in the time in sales, and I'm really watching for that to show up some big size. There's another big order, 7,000 shares at 562. Someone wants in here, and there's a lot of wicking action right now on the 1 minute in D-Nut. So you see all these wicks actions, and I'm going to show you guys some close up. So you see this wicking action. That's like kind of buying pressure. Every time it dips down there, it's not really selling pressure. It's actually buying pressure. Comes back, it gets bought. Comes back, gets bought. Let's see if we do get a quick wick here to 550 and then a quick recovery. That's what I'll be looking for. All right, that's enough of that action, though. Let's get you to the sunrise report. Let's learn a little bit more about what's moving in the market today. It's time for the sunrise report. Let's keep things going and take a look at what's moving in the market. All right, markets rising, of course, this morning on the Japan trade deal as the stock futures climbed as President Trump announced a major trade agreement with Japan, boosting the hopes of further pacts before, of course, August 1st tariff deadline. And it's coming really quickly here, guys. So we'll see what happens with that. Of course, the Dow futures were up a little bit there. S&P futures and NASDAQ up there. We'll talk a little bit about some key movers. Let's get to some earnings report. Let's get to some stocks that are moving. And of course, we can talk about some different stocks that are getting some action. I'll keep you guys up to date with that D-Nut trade and let you guys know what's going on there. I'm going to make the screen big so you don't see the trading action, because I know you guys are like me. You guys are going to get attracted to the cash out there. But let's focus in. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going on in the market. First one up we'll talk about is TXN. So TXN, of course, Texas Instruments, semiconductor name. Of course, this is a part of a lot of kind of appliances and things like that. So Texas Instruments taking a huge dip here, guys, a big dip from 220s down there to 194. And this stock was near all-time highs. So falling off of those, not the best look that you want to see there for this name. Down 10%. The EPS came in at $1.41 versus $1.35 estimate. That's not too far off on revenues at $4.45 billion with $4.36 billion estimate. So it was a good essential beat on both. It was the guidance that really hurt them here. Their Q3 guidance at $1.36 to $1.60, and their midpoint below the $1.50 estimate. So that definitely not what's looking good here. So Texas Instruments getting hit off of their guidance. Let's go to Hasbro. As of course, you know, the toy maker, and I've been talking about how this could be a change of trade. And we even drew this box, guys. I drew this box when? We drew this on the 25th, created it on June 25th. And that's when back here, guys. So I'll show you guys exactly that date. That was right here. I'm going to make a circle there so we know where we drew this box. We were looking to see if we were going to break out of this range. Why? I talked about looking for trades that are for the China trade deal that could happen at any moment. And I think this is a really good looking trade here in Hasbro. It probably has some high short interest also. I need to take a look at how high short interest Hasbro is, but it looks good here. The earnings also looking good. $1.30 EPS versus 78-cent estimate. 980.8 million in revenue versus only 880 million estimate. So big beat there on the EPS and on revenue. Just to make things better, they raised full year guidance led by the strength in their Wizard of Coast unit. So there you guys have it. We'll see what happens there in Hasbro. And if there's anything like I know, my nephew continues to buy Legos. It ain't going away anytime soon. All right, let's go to Toyota, as of course, Toyota and Honda getting big moves up as this is now starting to shake some of the downward pressure that Toyota was facing and a big move back to the upside. So good move there, and Toyota up 13% off the trade deal. I don't think I'll be trading Toyota, but it's something to note to see how the other auto manufacturers react today. Of course, GM, ugly day yesterday. Will it be able to bounce today with this deal, or will it continue to bleed? Find out, guys. Find out. All right, guys, seeing a little bit of a move there in D-Nut. I'm going to go for the ad, and then I'll just hold off break even here. We'll see what happens if it really gets going. I'll just keep you guys up to date with that trade as I keep it going. Let's go to Honda HMC. You guys can see that also lifting there. This actually looks a lot better than even Toyota's chart. So I'd be keeping an eye on this. I know this is a monthly, and I'm going to go even further back to a yearly. But if you think about this in just terms of technical analysis, right, this actually looks pretty strong here. So Honda looks like it could really start to lift here. I actually really like the idea of Honda coming back into this space, the 40s, and maybe getting towards $50. We'll see what happens. It's not a big push, but of course, it's a name that you can rely on here. We'll see. Honda maybe turning things around. All right, we'll see what happens there. Let's get out of that one. Let's go to Calmain Foods as we take a look at some different spaces in the market. We'll go to the farm products as this name looks like it's on a liftoff after really kind of falling off and coming all the way back towards the 115. Can it break here? EPS at $7.04 versus a $2.32 year-over-year outlook. Revenues at $1.1 billion versus a $640.8 million. And it's looking good here. I mean, it's definitely in the right space. Farm products, of course, we'll have to continue to see how inflation kind of affects that. It tried the breakout here before, and it really failed in the 115. So that's going to be your hard resistance to see if it can get through. If it can get through this 115 area, you'll be looking good. But that's coming real soon. It's at 111. So at least you know that, hey, you're getting up there towards a resistance. But who knows? Maybe it makes the breakout today, right up there towards that 115. Just know that's resistance. That's one thing I'll say. Capital One, let's go towards that one. And as we see Capital One kind of holding in on this pullback on the 9 EMA, looking good here in the pre-market. Beat on net interest income despite mixed revenue results here. Let's keep things going. Let's go to Intuit Surgical, ISRG. A lot of earnings stocks to go through. This is a name that was really loved in the AI movement. It was this huge run. Now has been kind of struggling here. I keep an eye out on this name. It's an interesting name. If it ever comes down to some cheap valuations, I'll take a look at it. But it doesn't look too bad here. $2.19 EPS versus $1.92 estimate. $2.44 billion in revenues versus $2.35 billion in estimate. So, hey, all good looking numbers here on their earnings report. Doesn't look bad at all. Let's see if maybe this could really start turning things around. It did take the early hit. This could be one that could surprise you and actually maybe make a move right back up towards that earnings pop where the algos brought it to 547. Man, that's crazy. All right, let's go to SAP. Let's take a look at SAP here really quickly, down 4.2%. Software name, not looking that good here. Earnings were a little bit off there. It doesn't look like there's anything that's really disastrous in this report, but it is fading strong. Hilton, of course, I've been talking about Airbnb. I'm back. I was at an Airbnb. So Hilton actually taking a little bit of a dip here, 2% now. They did beat on Q2 and raise guidance, but shares were slipping on booking concerns. Well, we'll see what happens here. I think this is one that could actually come back. It's on a little bit of a pullback after a little bit of a rip into the earnings report. Now pulling back. Let's see if it can come and catch kind of like this 50 EMA. That'd be down towards like 260. So there could still be a little bit of a pullback, but I still like Hilton and I like the space. So I'll be watching to see what happens. You guys know I've been talking about Airbnb and I like that setup. It's looking good this morning. We'll see if that can continue to lift. Let's go to AT&T here now as we talk a little bit about some AT&T. AT&T beat on subs and ARPU. And yet the outlook here is the uncertainty is still weighing on the company. I think the truth is that AT&T is just struggling now and they need to kind of change things up. Of course, T-Mobile definitely kind of beat them in a lot of spaces. But if you look at the monthly chart has made a huge run up and now could pull back, right? It's pulling back to this throwback look. So it really doesn't look bad here. I think it just needs to come back into this spot like 25, 24s, and then really start working its way back to 30. So I think in the long term, AT&T is not a bad one to look at, but we'll look to see what happens there in AT&T. All right, what's next? Of course, you'll be taking a look to see what happens tonight as we get Google and Tesla to report after the bell. So Google right now already ripping higher on the monthly. Let's take a look at the daily. Daily's been climbing right back here. We'll see a lot about what happens with search about Google. So many people hitting Google about that. Maybe this earnings report can surprise, right? Estimate 214 for the EPS today. We'll see what happens after the bell. Tesla, of course, will be also an interesting report. How will this stock react? Will it be at, let's say, 380s, 400, or will it maybe be down back below 300? All things to be thought about, right? We'll see what happens there. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the Sunrise Report. We'll get back to the trading action, of course. I'm still in a trade here. We've talked about it. Let's take a look a little bit further into the trade here, as I did take the ad on that pullback. So D-Nut, I am now 300 shares here from 559, looking for this to rip above. It just got to the 580s and kind of held up there. So let's see if it really wants to make the move. You can see kind of that cup and handle pattern, and now it's getting a little bit run into some selling pressure here as we got some sellers that come in there. I could see it going into the tape, 20,000 shares, 567. So when you get this sell about 20,000 shares, that's definitely going to bring the stock down really quickly. So you see here, I'll show you guys the sell, the 20,000 shares right there, 854, 567, 20,000 shares. That's definitely affecting the price here. So I want to see if it can hold 550, maybe a 545 touch. Under the 545 touch, I'll get out here. But let's see if this can really start to climb right back, because it could just be a seller that came in here and then we can get the move right back. So if we take a look at the 15-minute, we still could have a retracement here into like the 540s and then a lift higher. We are getting that test of the trend line, which is not a bad thing. It just needs to get some buying here to re-step back up. So that 20,000 shares definitely affected things, but now we'll look for that 20,000 shares to go away and some buying to come right back in. So now we scroll up and we look for some bigger buying to come right back in here. And look how you're starting to get a little bit of buying in the 557s, right? When it's blue, it's on the offer. It's on the bid. When it's red, it's on the offer. So you got 9,000 shares. Someone stepped up about 10,000 shares there on this pullback near 550s. Let's see if 550s can hold here and we start to climb right back in D-Nut. All right, we'll talk more about some trades out there. Time to catch you guys in the chat. GEV, we can talk all about GEV. We can talk about their earnings also. We'll get to that action there. GEV is higher up there, almost to 600. We'll look to see if this one can continue to climb. You guys know how I feel about GEV. I was telling everyone that this is a great investment down here at 300. And it's a big thing for me. I love this space, guys. And so if you guys got GEV and you got those calls, hey, cash on it, baby. Cash. I love to hear that, man. 80 is the new 20s. Yes, it is, Kevin. Yes, it is. We got to keep it going, man. What's up? What's up out there? Let's keep pushing, guys. If you guys got a stock you guys are watching this morning, let me know. There was a stock that I didn't see tradable for me that, man, I could have nailed this bad boy. PAPL. interesting penny stock this morning, was ripping up there. You guys can see the pattern right now. We'll see what happens on this one. ANEB is another penny stock kind of setting up there. If you guys see any penny stocks you guys want to talk about, throw them up in the chat or throw up any stock you guys want to talk about. We'll get to some of that action here that you guys are watching. All right, let's keep it going, guys. We'll definitely be having on Michael in just a second. I am seeing, though, a dip in Ethereum fast here, guys. So we'll see what happens with this one. Is it time to start seeing Ethereum crash right back down? It could definitely do it, guys. So I'll be watching this to see if it does break down, but it's time to really kick things off. I see Michael Noss in the back. I know that you guys are probably talking about these short squeeze stocks. Let's get to the action. You guys know it. Countdown starting. Money Mitch is back, and who knows? Maybe we have one right here in D-Nut. I'm trying to get that early morning glaze started. Pinkies up, guys. Coffee's out. Let's go get that money. Hugo wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
What's up, traders? Welcome back. Let's get it going. I'm back, Michael. What's going on, man?
Oh, it's another great day to be a bull. How was your vacation, man? What did you get up to? Hopefully not a lot.
Man. Just not a lot, a lot of beach time for the boys. They were loving it. I was on the Gulf, the Gulf of America.
Oh,
I'm gonna say that right now.
Fancy. Yeah, they'll come for you if you say that.
Your maps still says Gulf of Mexico, but we won't talk about that. Definitely, it's a lot warmer. The waters, like 70s, almost like 80 degrees water. It's like,
wow,
man, it's really warm for ocean water, right? So the boys were really enjoying that. Had a good time. Stayed in a really, really nice Airbnb. So maybe they get the lift because Money Mitch was looking into them before. They're doing really well. That's swing stock that we'll definitely talk about. But boy, did you see I'm sure you guys were talking short squeezing stocks yesterday, as it was a short squeezing party.
Yeah, and Open started it and they're all going, but it's something that we've been talking about since the very bottom. Right? I've been kind of pounding the table and saying, listen, if you want to be a contrarian investor, you are long here, right? Because funny enough, they're still short. We talked about this already this week with you being away, but they shorted more last week. They're more short than they like. What are these guys doing? Like, someone needs to walk into most hedge funds.
I'll tell you one thing. I hope they didn't short more KSS.
Well, let's go. Where are we? Indices, yeah, S&P 500. So again, we are focused on the blue line here because this is the large institution, right? The average large institution. And not only have they been shorting this whole rally, you can see as the market's been moving higher, they've been getting more short, but even at all-time highs last week, they shorted again. So the contrarian move is still higher because these guys we're seeing it in real time. They're getting completely blown out. So every time you get one of these things that's rallying and going crazy, just know that's a short squeeze. That's one of these guys who's been shorting the S&P 500 just getting wrecked here. And they haven't been this wrong since they, started to short way back right below this massive rally. So yeah, still think until I've been saying it the whole way up, people haven't been believing, but until this turns positive, there's no reason to ever think that this thing's going to go down for any reason. Doesn't matter. War didn't do it, right? Fights with JPOW didn't do it. Interest rate chat didn't do it. And I don't think any of it will because it's all about positioning, and they are positioned very poorly right now.
Yeah, we'll have to keep watching them. I even saw a call out from the good old flip-flopper Kramer telling the hedgies to get out of KSS. So we'll see what happens there. If the
What?
hedge funds start to really crumble there, would be interesting to hear if maybe a hedge fund actually breaks, right? We've heard of these before on super leveraged positions and
Yeah.
short squeezes before. So that would be a really interesting thing to come out of this.
Oh, they will. Without a
You know
doubt.
what I mean?
Without a
It
doubt, you're
happens
going
all
to
the
hear it.
time, right? We
Yeah.
hear about one or two that are just extremely over leveraged in a name. And that KSS move, I wasn't here, but something tells me somebody got ran over bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and this would be again. I want to get to a world where we have real time short data, and we can. You could do it on the blockchain. We could do it, but the fact that this thing crashed all day long, that has me almost more bullish on the name because it makes me think that there's more people who shorted into it. So if you can get that price action turning around and starting to move, oh man, right? That sell off makes me think again that they piled into it from the short side here all morning long, and if we start to bounce and recover, this is an interesting one that I've got an alert set just here at the 2-day VWAP. If we start to trade above that, again, I don't do discretionary trades very often, but that just might be one that I just need to punch in because we're pushing higher, right? So,
oh yeah.
it's what we need to see.
Yeah, and we can talk a little bit more about these high short interest stocks. We talked about a list this morning. I brought in some names already, but we can definitely take a look to see some other names, see how they're performing. And I think it's very important, right? Looking for those types of names right now. A lot of these names kind of showing up. It's funny? Hims is actually one of those names.
Hmm.
That's an interesting target here, right? I mean, I've been talking about this gap fill for a while, how it's just sitting there and it's sitting there. Had a decent kind of like candle yesterday. Maybe Hims can get going. Hims there with a short interest. And of course, I'm just going to pull these up. I can even show you guys like kind of the list that I'm pulling in here. These could be older data, so I'm not going to really hold me to the data, right? But I think it's important to see 35.8% of the
Hmm.
short interest. That's pretty high, right? I think anything over 30 starts to be something that you look at. Um,
Yep.
and then an important thing is the float, right? So for Hims, the float is 190 million. It takes a lot to short 35% of that, right? So those are things that you got to be thinking about, right? What do you like using FinViz for this?
Well, that's what I was just gonna grab, right? Again, just because it's free, right? It's very simple. You just click right over 30%, and maybe put some sort of volume or whatever to it. You go through and
Mhm.
say, hey, or market cap or whatever that is, and then you can just go look at the charts, right? So this is all the charts of anything with over a 30% short float, and I think this is just the move right now.
Look at that
Even
APLD shows up there.
yeah,
Been talking. I traded that one pretty well. I know that it made a nice move there.
right.
There's
So I
some
think
names here, man.
yeah,
What about
I think
QMCO? Forgotten name in quantum. Uh,
QMCO. Another thing, we talked about this a little bit yesterday as well, is I love here being able to chart the short float. I think that's super important. A static number is fine, right? It helps you out. But, I think the example I used was when we were looking at open there, because that thing was obviously we were looking at that because it was ripping. But you can see that they were piling in during this period of time. So they've been kind of dead wrong here as this thing has just been piling in. So having that absolute number, I think, is really important, but it's one of those you want to see the trend. So like QMCO, you just mentioned QMCO. If you chart that short float, they haven't, so the biggest amount they've been shorting on the way down, and they haven't really covered any of it. So the short float's been about the same here as it's been kind of all the way back here as well. So, this one's interesting to me, right? 33% short float. That's, a day or so to cover. That's interesting. We talked a little bit about yesterday, my mind med. That's got 9 days to cover. So If it means if we break out of this high here, it'll take 9 days in a row to go. But yeah, this is kind of what I did yesterday. I think this is a good exercise. Just start going through these names. ESOE was one that I was watching as well. ESOE. EOSE. This one, yeah. This is like a battery maker, like a zinc. They're doing zinc batteries or something, I was reading, and has a nice little gap up and then a good consolidation here. So if we start to break higher, I think that's the game right now. And it seems to come a couple times a year where all of a sudden the shorts are really getting hurt. This is the first time since the bear market. And quite often you get a couple days, you get sometimes a couple weeks out of them where you're just going through and you're saying, give me anything that is heavily shorted and is ripping on volume, and just YOLO a bit into it with a nice tight stop. And when you're right, you're going to be really, really right.
Yeah, and I love AI because just between that time right there, I was able to literally just come up with a short interest list, make my watch list from it, and now we can just watch all those names, right? I got them all there, ready to rock, and I'll let you guys know if any of these names kind of get the move.
There's your hymns,
And
HUSA.
yeah, there's names out there that could be targeted. I think the important part today is look for what moves also. You can look at a whole list of these, but there's a lot, right? So I think you got to go where more the volume flow is going. So look at relative volume, especially. Look for a stock that maybe was only trading 1 million shares yesterday, now is trading 60 million shares, right? Something like that could help.
Right. And then set your alerts, right? So this is another one that I'm watching really closely, right? Lucid, probably junk, but who cares? But nice gap up. And this was that news gap on Uber. And most importantly, it has been holding that gap up. So it hasn't really retraced at all. There's been no kind of aggressive selling after that gap. So that's interesting to me with a 33% short float. So what I'll do is I'll just go into, right, and just to show you guys, this is the simplest way to become systematic. Right? It's okay. Well, if we can get through there, set an alert, boom. Right, Lucid. You can just put a little name in there. You just say, right, high short float runner, and then just plan these trades in advance. So if Lucid starts breaking out here into new highs and confirming that's holding that gap, you can buy some. You can put your stop below the gap, and away she goes. Again, I get very excited during these times because they don't happen very much, but when they do, get out of the way.
Well, guys, I'll be ready to rock here and roll for you guys. I have a little list here on the bottom right. You guys know I always keep my kind of watch list here, the stocks that are hot, but I created a whole list of this for high short interest. And I have this thing from TC that's more volume surge only today. Like kind of a thing that they use, right? And these bring a couple of these more into play for us to focus on, like a Beyond Meat, right? We all know how that one loves to go with high short interest. RSLS showing up. IOVA, a penny stock here, already kind of ripping here. So we'll see what happens. That PLAC, that children's place, I understand why there's a high short interest on this place. I've shopped there. And let's just say that I don't buy much there. If I compare it to all the other children places like that you can buy clothes at, you're probably going to get a cheaper, better quality product. So I could see why they hate this thing, but that's perfect for the stock to come back, right? I mean, crazy day on this thing yesterday. Let's see if it has a day 2 move, right? It's already pulled back enough, right? It's already made that move through the whole body. Now you need to see if it can take out that body of yesterday, about like $7. And we're at 660s, right? So we'll see if we get back to 7 today out the gates. Let the stocks show us, right? And I think that's important here. We'll see what happens.
I think this is an important comment here too, right? CCIV. I remember that way back in the day. First ever trade, made a whole bunch of money, and then was taken to school. And yes, you have to remember these are junk.
Well,
right?
that was also a SPAC, right? So that was as free money as money came upon.
Now it's gone. I don't know.
So that's the thing though too, right? It was as free money as it got, right? But just saying, SPACs are back, man.
But yeah, take a look. Right, so D-Nut is probably going to
Let's take a look.
continue. It's probably
D-Nut.
going
Yeah,
to.
that's the one I'm trading right now. I'm longing.
Yeah, and just know. So these are heavily shorted stocks are often heavily shorted for a reason, and it's usually because they're junk and they're going to zero, right? So just remember, just because we are playing these things doesn't mean we believe these are good companies at all or anything to hold for any longer than just a couple days. And know that there are the people who are shorted now and they're getting squeezed, and then there are people who are waiting in the wings to short it later, and they're going to be the guys who make money. So I wouldn't be surprised if you look back. I think one of the even more, and I think something we can all agree, is beyond meat, right? The fact that this thing is squeezing 200% off the lows, this company is more likely than not going to zero in the next year or so. But
Ooh,
does it go
the glaze is starting to move.
yeah, but does it go to $13 in this run and then roll over and
Jeez.
go to zero, right? So play these, but just know G Pro, that's another one, right? GoPro is awful. Like,
GoPro.
look at this.
I'm trying to add here on D-Nut, guys. It's starting to get a little lift here.
Yeah, GoPro is just tanking.
Yeah, GoPro is another one that it's not a bad one either to go after. It's done these moves in the past. That's another thing I think you got to look in these names. You want to know that this name has done squeezes in the past. D-Nut is one of those names. GoPro is one of those names. Here we go. Starting to get a little lift here now. Trying to add it all the way up to the 580s here, guys. So I'm looking good here. And there's a rip. Let's go. Let's see if we can get $100 here and just cash out. I'm cool with a pullback entry fill because I think this gets to 6 here, but let's see if we can get a little pullback fill here.
Yeah, and I think your point of remembering the ones that went last cycle is very important. Just like with meme stocks or meme coins we're talking about. You look at the meme stocks. That's why Kohl's is going up solely because it's just part of the basket of junk that these kind of Reddit people go after when it goes.
Yeah.
You think the funds have definitely learned their lessons on GameStop. The fact that GameStop is not participating in this rally should tell you all you need to know about GameStop is that the story's over. If you're having a meme stock surge and GameStop's not participating in that meme stock surge, that's probably right. That's probably the end of that particular name. And then even you see AMC had quite a little bit of a pop here, right? You're talking 30-40%. Again, probably going to zero sometime fairly soon. But you can, right? AMC has this history of popping, right? Sometimes doubling off the lows and then just rolling back over and go. So just like we talk about with any kind of bubbly or frothy type scenario, it's a make hay while the sun shines and then have a plan to get out and just let them fall, come back in a little bit when they rip back up, right?
Yeah, right there, D-Nut. I was about to sell it at 595. I was trying to get the limit order ready, and it just pulled back quickly to the 570s. So trying to get back into the 590s here to kind of sell out. And I had a nice ad. I was just waiting for the 30-second rule. That was another thing that I was waiting towards. I was like, make sure it's the 30 seconds because the worst thing you could do is ruin the trade right there, right? But quick pullback here to the 570s. We'll look to see if it gets right back up there. It ran into some heavy selling there, but man, that's going to be frustrating if we don't get the sell on this one. I was seconds away from selling at 595, got to 597. Let's see if we get to 6. That's really the real nice cash spot, but we went right towards pre-market high 595, tapped it, went slightly higher, and then pulled back immediately. What does that mean? Yeah, someone was ready with their sell there, and they got it.
Yeah, again, they're going to squeeze quick. They're going to drop quick. It's just the nature.
Imagine if you had 1,000 shares right there, right? I mean, you just dropped $2,000. So, but we'll see if we cash in on this one. A little frustrated on that one because I should have been able to nail that one. Just not ready for it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens if it can get back in here. Some buyers starting to step back out here into the 560s, but needs to start really catching some strength here.
Yeah, it'll be a very interesting day of just kind of watching that, taking a look at the overall market around the horn here, back up to these prior highs from yesterday after Japan just killed it, right? Was it JPN? 225. That's an easy way, just FYI. You can take a look at, if you put in TradingView JPN 255. That's the CFD version of the Nikkei. I think 5 or 22. There are 225 stocks. They're a broad market index, and 4% rally last night. So again, just showing that this is not just an AI thing, and it's not just an American thing. This is the whole world is kind of ripping. So we are just in an environment where growth is abound. Companies are making more money. Japan had just some sort of great economic numbers and a 4.5% rip there in Japan, and continuing. So that's what's kind of bringing up all markets right now, is the fact that, it's one thing to like look and say, oh, America's doing great. And then it's another thing to look around the world and say, well, everyone's doing great. We should definitely not be short stocks if everyone in the world is making money and having a good time. So I think the important thing to watch, and you can see if I draw this line out, we are right there. We're flirting with this right here, which was the all-time highs before we had that little sell-off, that Dragonfly Doji the other day. And we're right back there, just bumping our head up. So that's like 130 or 631.50. So that's the area to watch. Through that, blue skies, new all-time highs. Everybody out there, except the shorts or the doomers who didn't buy in, are making money, and everyone else having a bad time. But sorry for them. But that's your pure kind of sentiment. And there's just no supply up there, right? There's no reason, as long as we can just kind of have the big guy in the White House just to shut up for a day. If we can hold that 631.50, I think we're just kind of off to the races again. It'll be interesting to see if it was like yesterday, where, remember, yesterday we had the SPY was up 0.01%. The SPY was basically flat, but the RSP was up 1.25%. So a huge, insane day for the average large cap stock, with the Qs down 0.5%. So big tech just got clobbered yesterday. The average large cap stock did absolutely fantastic.
So I found the seller at the D nut. It was right here. I've been trying to show you guys this because I think it's very important to show this, guys, to learn about this, right? So it was right here. I didn't see him when he came through the tape, but 590, 67,000 shares. Yeah, that will knock it down right back to that will knock it back down to 570, right?
Yeah.
You think he cashed? Oh yeah, he cashed.
Yeah, that's a
I
guy
wouldn't
who
be
bought
surprised if
last
that's
night or this
good
morning.
old Cameron Cross. Oh man. So when you see the guru video later today about how someone made $80,000 in D-Nut, we know exactly where his sell was. These are things that you can learn from, right? It was really right at the high of the day. It ticked 1 or 2 cents above higher day. And what did he do? Bid on the high of the day. Boom, 60. You know what I mean? Just get me out button. Bam. And then the whole tape just falls off because it's so much shares on one side, right? It's always a battle of that supply and demand, right? And we got to understand that, of course, supply is going to get affected there when you get a huge kind of wiping of some shares right there. So the tape just really quickly goes thin, and that's what causes that drop, right? There's not a lot of size waiting there at 570s. It doesn't expect it. So all of a sudden it's whoosh. We can learn from these moments, though. You could use those moments also to get in certain stocks also, right? You get a quick dip, you're buying that dip, but you got to have that speed type of mentality and understand where the sell areas are.
So any of your lists there of short float names, are they home sales, home builders at all?
Home
That's one to
builders?
watch, because we do have
I can
existing
add
home sale
entrance.
numbers.
Let's add industry. I'm going to add industry. So
yeah, we got the homies at 11 or 10 Eastern. So we got home builders popping up there, which is interesting. It's not a huge event. It's not crazy, but what we saw with ITB yesterday,
not much.
Which was,
I looked.
So we've talked about this chart before. In full disclosure, I own a bunch of this ITB, just kind of right from in this area right here. just this big rounded top that wasn't. And yesterday in home builders, we had a 8% move across home builders as a whole. That's huge in just home builders. So, keep an eye out today. Again, we at 10 Eastern, we have new home sales month over month. Some decent numbers there, not like FOMC type numbers, but pay attention to home builders, make a list of your favorites, see if there's any ones that you want to buy or sell. That number should be interesting when it comes out.
Oh, good mention there by Tak, and I will be super happy to go back on Trader TV next Tuesday because I got so much hate for mentioning the black gold. But look at BTU go, man. And this is what it's about sometimes, guys. Finding trends that change, right? This was a trend that changed, right? And there's usually a high flyer or some type of leader that told you it. It was METC. And then I looked at BTU as more the quality name to really get after more of a swing, right? And getting out of a base, right? So using some technical analysis, but really also looking into market analysis. Like when you start to look in certain sectors and industries, I'm telling you guys, you're going to be able to catch stocks because of an industry move.
And there's your rare earth ETF ripping as well. But yeah, BTU is a great one. Again, it's sad that they got rid of the coal ETF at the very bottom of coal, because that would be the best way to deal with that without doing any company specific risk, is just to be able to buy the asset itself. But nice breakout again from this major high here for the anchored VWAP. As soon as you got above that, there we go. So that's a nice looking move there on coal names. TM, Toyota Motors. Yeah. So Toyota would be interesting. Yeah. And then what's MUFG is Mitsubishi Financial. That's or Massive Bank. That's ripping. So you can grab some. It's not a whole lot of Japanese names that are just like really cool to play. So it might be one of those EWJ. I wonder if there's a leveraged Japanese ETF, but hitting new all-time highs. And it's just crazy to see. Anyone who doesn't believe in, technical analysis and price memory, just look at this chart. You're talking 2021 comes back down and then right back up to those highs right there, and then consolidate it forever before breaking out, like a huge pause. You have to go back on the Japan. Can I just do the Nikkei? I don't know how far this will go back, but anyway, you just trust me, bro, on this one. This is also their high from like 20 some odd years ago as well, that it's been consolidating against here for months and months and months before breaking out. So yeah, huge move. Keep an eye on everything Japan and Japan related for you kind of currency nuts out there. USD JPY is going to be a very interesting one here. Just to see if there's some sort of dollar impact. And then again, MFG. Yeah, there's MFG and there's MUFG and a couple of these banks. And again, they're not huge movers normally, but when you have a 5% one-day move in one of the largest economies on planet Earth, you're going to see those ripple effects. And imagine being one of these guys and you're already seeing the short floats rip, and then you wake up and Japan is just on fire, and you're just like, oh, damn. Like, we're breaking here. This line right here, I'll add the text here, is just all-time highs. So we are through all-time highs there on the SPY with 5 minutes until the open. Again, the only number we have going on is this home builders, which sometimes you see a pause, I've noticed, and then the number comes out and then the market moves, but it's not going to be a crazy effect there. And then I think tonight we've got a couple earnings. Tesla's one of them.
Google, Tesla.
Oh, I actually have it right here. This is AT&T, GE, Moody's. No one cares about Moody's. Tesla, Google. Now, a couple of these. SSNC is kind of a big name, but yeah, these are the two big guys, is Apple and Google. Then tomorrow we have Intel and a couple names like that, and then everyone is lazy on Friday for some reason. But yeah, so tonight could be a big one because those are two obviously large components of the S&P 500. So let's just check both those out and see what they look like. Tesla's still just range bound. This has been the most probably annoying range for active traders because it's a 25% range on a huge company, but it's getting really tight. We're starting to consolidate nicely here. So this might be an interesting play after earnings if one of these break. I generally don't like to play a stock the day before earnings because you don't usually get a whole lot of movement. But if we end up breaking out of this wedge right here, that could be a interesting way to play that. And then Google just continues its grind up to highs here. So I get a little bit more worried when a company's like this with slow march up into earnings. It's people are buying the rumor or buying the lead up, and then you hope they don't sell the news after that, but they certainly could.
All right, guys, let's see if this can really rock and roll now. Back to the 90s here, looking for the pop towards 6, but willing, of course, to take some out here if we start to pop towards 6 here. Let's see if we get it. I got 400 shares of D-Nut. Let's go. Let's get this icing, baby. Let's get this icing. All right, D-Nut, let's go. 15-minute charts when I'm watching here. Now we need to see a close up here, right? So you see this right here? All this selling pressure up in that spot. So we want to start seeing that hold above a bar actually close. So you see these wick. So now we need to see it close up there. If it closes up there, it's strong and can get away from the trend line.
All right. Yeah, looking good across the board. I don't really see a sector so far that I don't like, which is great.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm just sorting kind of just individual sectors by the only thing is we've got gold, solar, who cares, bonds,
Who cares?
Bitcoin miners, but we've kind of determined that we don't really need Bitcoin to always participate in these moves anymore. However, this does look like an insanely bullish kind of coil that's happening here. Solana, I've heard a lot of smarter crypto guys than me saying Solana's probably next after Ethereum. That massive push we had in Ethereum, huge resistance right here. I don't know if it gets through it all in one shot or if we just consolidate here for a number of weeks before breaking and then maybe challenging the all-time high at 5,000. But we're just not getting that crypto. You see Solana's down a little bit today after a huge run. Ethereum's down a little bit today after a huge run. And then we have Bitcoin down a little bit here after the sideways consolidation. So that breakout might be interesting, but here's kind of my crypto list. You can see pretty much everything is red except for BNB. That's interesting. The Binance token making new all-time highs. Yeah, that's a nice looking chart. I don't think I can trade the Binance coin on Kraken. That wouldn't make sense. They probably want you to trade some sort of Kraken coin on Kraken, but that's a good look.
All right, now it needs to get through that 590s. When we get back up there, we just did another kind of scare out to 565s. At this point, it needs to go. If not, I'm just going to let it go and take what I can get.
And we have 1 minute till the open. Just FYI.
Yep, that's another thing here, right? So just be careful for quick wipeouts and then comebacks.
Why did you do that? What's going on here?
Getting a pullback here on D-Nut.
Yeah, pulling back off the open here.
Yeah. Watching for buyers. There's some big orders at 553s, 10,000 shares, 3 orders right there. So someone stepped up at 550 when it just pulled back towards that level. Looking to see if it can recover 560s here and just get through 6. Got to be careful if it gets back through that 550. There it is, back towards 550s here. It's going to test that buyer. All right, now let's see the buying come back in here and really get going. 26,000 shares there at 564. So definitely some big size there. Watch out for the takedown here. It's definitely testing that 550 buyer. Here's the takedown look. Now let's see if they bring it back. I'm stuck here. I'm definitely caught. I'm trying to get out, but I'm trying to see if it can get back through this 530s. If not,
I'm just going through. I had a
getting hit hard here out the gates here on this D nut. Trying to get it to bounce. It's not bouncing one bit. Hard candle down here out the gates here, guys. Definitely getting washed here. No icing for me no more. Got caught, man. Should have been able to sell out there into the 580s, 590s. Definitely not a bad way. Not a good way to start the day.
Me neither. I'm dealing with a little bit of a bot issue here. So, but yeah, just right off the bat here, big sell here. Just first opening candle, a bit of a wash on the SPY. So we just have to be a little bit careful there, right? Just to make sure that we understand that, and it's just the way she goes. So right, make sure
with a little ad there, trying to get it back there. If not, 509, ready to stop out.
Should have been.
It's going to cost me here. Definitely expanded risk for sure. Getting caught here at the open. Normally, I hate being into trades right at the open, and that was when Michael even said, "Oh, the open's right here." I was like, oof.
Yeah, it's a bit of a right. It's one of those. Sometimes it will work great for you. Sometimes
I hate being. I would rather just close it in the pre-market. I should have closed this at like 9:15 on that 585s. Just taking the cash and then just kind of just looked at the open for another entry. Starting to get this back. It's probably going to get back above my level here, but I got to make sure that I manage it on any pullback. Trying to reclaim VWAP here. Let's see if it reclaims it. It's running into some selling right there at the 540s. Yeah, some selling right there. 13,000, 12,000, 537, 532. Remember that 550 buyer early got hit hard, so I'm looking to see if it can get back to his level. It rejected to get back to his level. All right, looking around to see if some other names are getting the lift on that. I see Hims, man. Hims is rocketing there, so got to be careful to spend too much on this because I'm missing moves all around because of this. This is what I meant by looking at what moved out the open there, and I'm getting caught in this, so I'm kind of distracted on it. And we can take a look at some names out there. BKKT, one of those names ripping a little bit. Space. Ooh, this one's a known one. SPCE, good setup there, guys. I can't really break it down for you guys, but I can tell you guys at least that one looks good on the scanner. Hims is looking good there. And then I'm looking through anything else that stands out to me that I know runs. This insurance player is showing up, Lemonade, but that's just one name that I'll think about on a longer term. Other than that, yeah, I think that's the only ones I'm seeing right now really kind of make the move. SPCE doesn't look too bad there.
Yeah, Space is an interesting one. That's one of those that's, again, I thought it went bankrupt, so it's probably perfect for what's going on in this market.
Exactly. So
there's been a couple of these that I saw, like same with Lucid, that yeah, that it's if Lucid, I thought that went bankrupt too. So anything that looks awful but has a high short float, you're just trading the momentum, right? And you don't get cute with it. You just kind of take your trade, make sure you got your risk.
SPCE.
Yeah, I'm watching that. That's moving here pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to grab some here on the pull on the rip higher. It's already 430s though, but I think this could get towards 450s in a heartbeat. So it's not a bad one. I'd like to see a quick little pullback here to get in it. All right. Well, I can't really focus on it too much, so I'm going to take a starter there, risk below the kind of the first action there, and go back to managing D nut right now because That's what I really need to focus on.
Now, Lucid is interesting here. We're breaking out here on
Lucid's a good
Lucid.
one to watch.
Yeah, we're trying to dig in here on the overall market. We're trying to, find some sort of support for just one moment. See if that's something that can hold here. So I'm watching this really closely just to see if we're going to hold kind of 630.70. That's the low of the pre-market and kind of the low of the day too. So we had that initial spike down, and the question is that a liquidity grab? Is that something that we're just simply taking a trade on? And if so, then great, maybe we ripped it back to highs, but was that move real? And then also I want to remind everyone, we do have that home sales number. And again, even though it's not a big number, sometimes the market just goes, okay, let's just wait until the number's gone, because it is sometimes, if it's a crazy number, it could be market moving. So again, as someone who programs bots and things, I know that there are some out there that just say, okay, just wait, right? Just, you've got this number coming up, just wait for this number to be done, and then kind of go from there. So
Lucid looking good off this 9 EMA here. So trying to catch a couple of these runners here today. At least D-Nut starting to come back a little bit there. Should be able to manage that in a second here.
all right,
Lucid doesn't look bad either.
I am back. Yeah, something happened there where every single possible alert just fired off right at the open. So I made a change last night, and that change went
looking for a 320
bad.
pullback here in Lucid and a rip higher above the 330s here. So somewhere I wanted to expand range here on a kind of a dip to get some traders, and then all of a sudden go higher. So you see on the 1, looking for the dip towards 320s and then go higher. We'll see if we get it. That D-Nut just wants to not really kind of come back there. It went back to 535s. I have the stop right underneath the action right now. Might come back and get me. It would be like a third bottom there. But definitely D-Nut definitely going to probably take a hit there. So just trying to keep trading also, because the truth is I can't stress about that one loss. Going to take the lost hit and just keep moving.
That's what you got to do.
Triggered on right there, but it's just a really annoying one when I was up 100 on this. This is just like bad management towards the open. And part of it, just getting back into the hot seat and, focused on the stream versus not focused on the trade there and messing up the trade there. But that's just a part of the game there. I have a feeling now, it just clicked me out right there at the bottom, third bottom. D-Nut might get back, but that's just the way
SPY is grinding back to that all-important 631.15 number, which is the all-time highs. But again, just like I didn't really trust anything to the downside, not really trusting anything to the upside, looks like I got the bot fix. This is
Lucid just hit the 330 there. Ooh, some sizing coming in at Lucid there. Definitely some size in there. Lots of size coming in there. 211,000 shares there at 329. 211,000 share order there for Lucid. That's crazy talk.
Wow. Someone just dumped in almost $500,000 into that.
That's a lot of money.
Pretty crazy.
Trying to see if we can get a quick push here. I think we might get a dip towards 320s here. Just be careful out there, guys. I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
So Lucid popping up here. I'm really watching the SPY. We've got 20 minutes until the number to see if we can get through this particular idea as well. In which or this particular level. If we fail here and we roll back over new lows, that's a little bit more worrisome to me, because that's seemingly like what's happening right here. What I want to see is a dig in this low. You can see how this kind of lined up, not pre-market lows, but this area right here where buyers came in the pre-market. And if this can continue to hold, then we can reverse higher. But if not, we may just be fading and trying to refill some of the gap, which I don't think is, necessarily the worst thing in the world. You had a big gap higher and it comes back and fills some of it. That's, healthy kind of action. So we'll see. And then again, there's the other option in which we are just going to do nothing until we get to the point where we have this not FOMC, this home sale number here, existing home sales out of the way at 10 Eastern. So we have a Euro consumer confidence, but who cares about that? But existing home sales. So we want to watch things like ITB. Right? They're selling a little bit of that to get the bet going there into the open. And then the SPY, again, selling a bit. But it's interesting. The SPY is up. The Qs are down. The RSP is actually up more. So it's one of those.
Ethereum is getting hit hard. I will say that.
One day.
SBET down. That looks good on the short side thing.
Yeah, well, and look at this level in Ethereum. It makes sense that if you rally as much as you do into a level that's this strong, that you're going to take a little bit of a rest. Right? So a nice pullback here. Some sideways consolidation, something would be great, but this kind of 4,000 area since over a year has been a complete brick wall here on this kind of thing. So yeah, DNUT is up, but selling from the open. GPro, someone just talking in the chat here. GPro selling from the open. This one might be interesting where we've come and we've hit this 1-day VWAP. If we start to move higher, we get through those.
It's a nice undercut under two.
So
I like it. Looks pretty good on the support there on the 190s for the GoPro. The 15-minute can close back up above 212s or 211s here. Looks really good. So that's the thing. You get a wick underneath the trend line, and then you can get a recovery look.
Yeah. No, we are certainly back in action when it comes to meme coins. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Or not meme coins, meme stocks. Meme
Dash
everything.
for trash, man. That's what this is called, guys. This is not meme stocks. This is dashing for trash. This is like going in your dumpster and finding gold.
Well, yeah, because somebody is short. And again, we talk about it all the time. It's all positioning. If people weren't short these names, they wouldn't be ripping like this, right? No one would care about GoPro. But yeah, people are looking at it and saying, listen, if you guys are going to be short this company that's gone from $200 to $1, and you think now is the time to pile in short, as soon as the animal spirits start to wake up, people start to get a little bit excited. They're going to take you to the woodshed. And I would have hoped that these guys would have learned by now, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. Because it's one of those, yeah, you're probably right. GoPro's probably screwed. But hey, are they going to rip it? 100% in your face before? That's certainly possible, right? You can be 100% right on direction. And if you're wrong on timing, it does go to zero eventually, and then you just get hosed because you're kind of getting it on the wrong side. It's no bueno. But again, it can certainly happen. It happens all the time. Look at Melvin. Imagine if old Melvin Capital was able to hold on for a little bit longer, he would have been the hero of the story instead of blowing up entirely.
And building material names doing really well off of your house number coming up, but those are doing well. Industrial is doing well today. Also, Caterpillar, man, right back up 425. That means Picard in play for the swing. And look at Picard, guys. I talked about this trade too much, man. And of course, it did it to me where it just said, you know what? We're going to bring it back when you're out of vacation. When you're out on vacation, we're going to rip it. There it is. There it is.
SPY is
Picard doing well.
SPY not so much. Right?
No,
SPY
I
getting
mean,
hit
I think
the
it's
lows here.
the sign of Bitcoin. Bitcoin getting hit hard, man. Look at Bitto. Bitto is getting hit hard here, man. And I think you're going to start to see some of that turn there. Mara is really getting wiped out. That's the trade today, right? downside Mara, because that's getting hit hard. Clean Spark might get hit hard here. Doesn't
Well,
look too bad there.
That's what I've talked about, right? The miners versus Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is still above yesterday's low and holding in strong. But like you mentioned, Mara just breaking down out of this base. They don't participate nearly as much when we get the upside. They participate way more when we get the downside, right? And
BMMR cracking also. That still has ways to go. It could still go all the way right back down. So
Rando's mom. At least, the very least, it looks like the volatility's kind of calmed down on this name. So hopefully Rando's mom's doing all right with it. But yeah, this is GEV. Everyone's talking about in chat here. Wow. Look at that. Oh, that's earnings. So they beat both top line and bottom line. And it just opened and just kind of ripped all morning here on GEV. So congratulations for holders of that guy. That's been doing really well.
I mean, that's been one of the best investments you could have been doing, man. On the pullback, I talked about it. It's diversified nuclear space.
Yeah.
You're diversified too. And so that's the key there, I think, is that it's not just nuclear play.
Hoping it goes on a bull run soon. Yeah, so the person owning the Qs, it's just so weird that the Qs are so dramatically underperforming. Like if you look here, right? SPY's green, RSP, which is equal weight, is doing great. Dow's green, small caps are green, everything green here across the board. And then we do the Qs, and the Qs are down. So the Qs are definitely not the place to be right now. And we saw that yesterday too. We were talking a lot about that with Tim, where the RSP was ripping, like new high after new high. It was up like 1.25% at the end of the day. And then the Qs were down. So it just shows that what is having a bad time is large cap tech. Right? Everything else is doing great. If you're in other sectors around the world, they're doing fantastic. Large cap tech is doing really bad. You can kind of see that here in the heat map. We have oil and gas. Oil and gas is doing great. You know, we've got a lot of sectors out here doing fantastic. And then to the downside, we got a little Bitcoin, we got a little hack, we got a little semiconductors, right? This is your large cap kind of techie kind of area. Short BMNR.
On the swing.
Yeah.
Adding to Lucid, now it's back at that 320s, looking for the rip higher.
For me, it looks like the bot chose to be mostly short today with short LAZR. Don't know what that is, but we're short that.
That's a LiDAR play.
Short Woof or Petco, short AR here on this breakdown. And then long one share of MEDP because it's a insanely expensive company. So those are the trades so far. After got about $50, $60 hit from just the bot, literally entering every trade that it possibly could right off the open. So hopefully that is sorted out.
Only 40 shares of that BMNR, looking for a break of this 39 and a quick sweep down there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it will be. We have 11 minutes to this home builder. Again, I don't think
down to Ethereum down big. That's why I was betting on it, guys. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just to reiterate, I don't think home builders is going to be the home building number is going to be a huge thing, but just we see this so much where that if you have a big number, that first little bit is choppy, and then after that things break. Just 1 second, I hear my dog having a bad dream.
Oh, it happens to me, my dog, all the time. Wake up, buddy. We're going outside. You don't have to cry no more.
Yeah, you just have to give her a little yell. She's just here out there whimpering.
Yeah, Marley does the same thing, man. I always tell him, we're going outside. He gets super excited.
Yeah, Apple's... Wow, what a fall here on Apple. So Tack is saying he likes the dip into earnings. Probably right. Again, I have no data for this, but I'd love to fundamental data is funny
Tesla
enough
doing
harder
well.
to get than technical data. I would love to see some sort of fundamental study of what happens if the stock is down the week leading up to earnings or up the week leading up to earnings, if there's any. Because I feel that when something's rallying every day into earnings, and then the earnings comes out, it's more likely that it's a disappointment, kind of sell the news kind of thing. But yeah, I'd love to see that, because that could be a very hard strategy to do, but that could be a strategy in and of itself to play.
Tesla's looking interesting today, guys. Of course, earnings coming after the bell, but could get played into right now, at least for the day trade, especially if the SPY and the Qs could come right back up, right? So just looking at that as a setup. That's a trend line setup where it can go right back up here, right? So I'd be catching going up 335s, 338s. We'll see what happens with Tesla. See, there's this high from Friday's action where it went to 338. That's kind of the target that I would be looking at. That's $6 higher in Tesla, right? So
SMR ripping. Yeah, it looks like this kind of a nuclear
nuclear
day.
day.
If you go to NLR, that's just kind of moving in general.
Who talks about that SMR, man? I've never heard that stock ever.
Yeah,
look at HIMS. I have a feeling HIMS is going for that gap, man.
Ooh.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Like, I want some swing on HIMS. That looks good, man. Willing to risk the $30 here. Took a little bit there. They're going to risk off to 51 there for HIMS. The gap closes $8 higher. So I can risk $1 for $8 up, right?
The percentage of times you have to be right on that trade is near nothing. So,
so taking some trades out there, guys. Got to be careful, like always, but taking some shots. Lucid's the one that's running into problems here. It could undercut the low right now. I'm setting the stop towards like 310.
Yeah, SPY looking very
start coming back.
Bear flaggy here on kind of the 1 minute, the intraday chart. It's looking very like we're potentially going to break down here to new lows. Again, just to level set with everyone, it's still up on the day. We gapped up and we're pulling back into that gap some. It just means intraday wise, we could be pulling back a bit. So just be very careful there, and then make sure you're, setting everything accordingly. And 7 minutes until we get that one news event. So for me, I'm kind of not trusting, just like I mentioned, I wasn't trusting the rally. I'm not really trusting this sell-off, because I've just seen too many times, if there's a number that anyone cares about at all that's happening at 10, that everything that before then is just noise, junk.
Man, Archer took a fall. That definitely was a fall from grace while I was gone. The crazy part is I'm catching up to names, right? Remember this This thing's continued, man. That thing's been a metals breakout. CEG is doing really well today. Oh, and NE back towards 37. That's not a bad one because it keeps chopping around, right? Not as clean as SMR, but that chop down could be a good thing to look at.
Yeah, it's a nice look for sure. It's a nice
spike fill in there, and SPE spike fill, so stop fill essentially. So add there in SPE. Let's see what happens in space today. Virgin Galactic, baby. Let's go to space. Strap me in the rocket. I'm ready to ride. Let's go.
A nice little breakout there. The market just needs a little bit of a recovery, and then I think a lot of these things could just fly.
Yeah, just the market needs to kind of play in here, because at some point it could just become a leak kind of thing. But hey, you guys stay with the strength, guys. Stay with the strength. AMD, man, looks like it doesn't want to come back down. It hit the 90 MA on Tuesday, gave you guys an opportunity like no other back into the gap. Hope somebody was able to play it.
Yes,
this thing's
absolutely.
been on a momentum breakout, man. I have a feeling that it's going to get to the box that I drew. Created this on the 25th of June. We're almost there, guys. We're almost to that box. I draw these blocks sometimes, and I'm like, dude, even if it gets up there, that's a crazy move. We're almost there, guys.
Let's just taking a look at some of my swings, just see if there's anything going on here. I got in this KOD that's breaking out here.
KOD.
The Kodiak, whatever.
You're shorting this or
no, long. This is a swing.
This is the perfect kind of short interest stock, guys. KOD, Kodak Sciences. Not a bad one to look to is if it can get some volume through 6 here. We'll see.
KSCP, that one's not working out as well, but again, just going through some of these. Again, these are all robot swing trading. I have 100% systematized.
I'd love to hear, man.
And then, 10% short float on this one. And then day trading, we are close. We are very close. And then Mitch, we're going to start having little sessions, I think, during the slow time of the day, and we're going to build out your like dip and rip kind of system.
Let's do it. MOS coming back into play. So basic materials having a hell of a day there. I'll tell you that, guys. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, ASTS. Someone's mentioning that'd be a good one. I like the chart there. 25% short float, so it's still pretty heavily shorted. Man, those guys.
I don't understand how you're still short on this. I understand being short on this early on. It had really tough road to get to where it got to, but it started to do really well. The Rockets did well. And the biggest thing is that it's been getting more of an attraction because they know that Trump is going to get like hard on SpaceX. So they're thinking that ASTS will get the beneficiary of that, and it's continuing to rip higher. We'll see.
A quarter of that float short. Those guys must be really hurt. So
RKLB also continuing to go higher. These are pushing, guys. They can still push. It's good to see you out there, Trevor. What's up? What's up? How we doing, man? KOD looking like it wants to break 6 there. You're looking good.
I'm just looking at what's old.
Here's one that's starting to make a little bit of a move. I'm looking for a rip into 8, but Hertz, guys. Hertz.
Oh, that's another good one.
Hertz into 8 would be not a bad look there. I'll tell you one thing. The swings are doing well. The day trade's no bueno today, especially on the starting action.
Trump must be talking somewhere. Just FYI, I'm on Walter Bloomberg's thing, and he's railing against Powell again. He's
dude. Did you? I saw a recent interview. He did an AI speech. He was doing this AI speech, like AI conference, and dude, this guy just went off the rails. Like normally, Trump off the rails is the normal thing. No, this was like complete like.
It's all.
It's like when you hear your grandpappy talk, and
you start going, "Oh, that's nice." Same as my 3-year-old. Yeah, you go, "Oh, okay, cool."
You went to school with Roosevelt. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, yes, Grandpa.
Yeah, good job, bud. But yeah,
SPCE starting to at least get the lift there. I'm gonna get cut out probably in Lucid here. I'm like a cent or two away, but I have that feeling it's just going to cut me out. Could come back later. I'll tell you one thing. Whoever got out of Lucid at 3:30 hit that a huge order.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a smart guy.
Yeah.
She said, "Dude, this thing's popped 10 cents. I'm getting out."
It's SPY continuing just to bleed here, right? The Qs are now down 0.25%, and SPY is still up. RSP is actually holding near highs, so showing us again this is a big cap tech sell-off. Yeah. This is not an every stock sell-off. So
nope.
Weed the pull the weeds, water the flowers, right? If you've got big cap tech, it's probably not having a great time right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla's doing fine. I'm trying to find the culprit here. Is it Apple? Yeah, Apple's bleeding pretty hard, and then Nvidia's bleeding pretty hard. So it's both of those guys. But if you got something that's ripping, again, most stocks are doing just fine. We have IWM up 0.5% and it's trying to rally on IWM. So short some big cap tech, buy something else.
Yeah, healthcare starting to come back now. Healthcare looking interesting. You see this little rip? That can help my HIMS trade. HIMS trade is almost up a full buck from buying it at 52, which is definitely a reach. But I said, you know what? Not going to miss it here. I'll
Mm.
take the shot off the dollar. Look at him's really starting to get going. I talked about it early. Could get into the gap zone. It's there. It's in the gap zone now.
All right, so home builders numbers should be out, and nobody cares.
Look,
But
Toll Brothers, no one cares, man. Toll Brothers probably cared. Builders resource. If you see these pull back now, you'll know why.
yeah, I'm gonna take a look here.
Carrier.
Probably it
at
looks like
rip.
it was pretty much in line.
Yeah, this rip right here tells me more and more. Just watch out for maybe a little pullback now and then a rip higher with the number, but definitely this CARR, I actually like it. Just because how many houses have been built lately. It's making a nice move.
Yeah, it's a nice no, again, we're kind of digging in a little bit here, so we got to keep an eye on that. Looking spacing, they're saying, looking nice there. But yeah, just know that that's out of our way, and that's it. That's all there is today. We've got some big earnings after, but so far today, all there is
all right. SPCE really getting
so
going here. Let's get after it here. Willing to add on a pullback, but it's doing pretty well. It's up there now to 440s. Looking for the 450 breakout here. See, this can really start to get going here, guys. And Lucid now just at least bottoming out a little bit on Lucid. So there's SPCE really starting to lift here.
Nice.
We're clear for takeoff. We're clear for takeoff. I'm in the Space Coast, so we're clear for takeoff. There's 455. Now we're getting going, guys. Now we're rocking and rolling here now. 455. Let's get to a halt. Come on. Let's make a little bit of a halter in SPCE. What would that be like? That'd be a big move. That's up and towards like the fives. Let's see it. 10% move. Probably right around 490s in 1 minute, though. It's from this, it would have to be a little higher. Looking at somewhere near $5. Let's see if we can do a big push really quickly.
Yeah. No, nice.
Hertz going. I like that Hertz.
Yeah, that's a really nice looking kind of cup and handle style chart through, what's that, around $8 struggling with. What's a short on that? Let's see.
There we go. Got a little bit. It's actually pretty high. I'm looking to add at 780s here on the pullback or below 780s here.
Yeah, 20%, and 20% leads to 3 days to cover. I love that days to cover number. So for those who don't know, you can see that on, I'll grab it to you here. You can pop this. And if you go to FinViz, they've got two charts. They've got short float, which is 20%. And then they've got days to cover. And that's what they call short ratio, which is 3.27. That means that using current average daily volume, if every single trade was somebody trying to get out of their position, it would take them 3 whole days to get out of their position. The higher that number, the better. So sometimes you can have a low short float, but if the stock doesn't do a whole lot of volume, that can lead to a huge days to cover. Like HIMS, I think, is a perfect example of this, where the short float is 35, but because it trades so much, it's 2 days to cover, which is still a lot. But it just goes to show that these numbers aren't always in sync. So sometimes, again, that days to cover number can be the actual number that people are really looking forward to.
Yeah, SPC doing really well, guys. I'm not messing with that thing. I'm trying to get more ads in Hertz.
So the home sale numbers, June home sales fall 2.7%, and it came in pretty much just exactly in line. They wanted 4 million, and there was 3.95 million. So it's like exactly. That's probably why it didn't move the market too much at all, because they guessed it right. But we're trying to dig in here.
Here's another one. QMCO, guys. QMCO doing well now. This is one that I'm also keeping on the radar here. I'm just going to keep getting after this, guys. I'm just going to go smaller size and just play a bunch of these. Have some fun today. Let's have some fun. So I just grabbed QMCO, 100 shares. I'm not going big on this one because I'm starting to get, lower in buying power, and I just want to keep it in case I need or want to add them certain names. But there you guys have it. Now 4 day trades on. Lucid, the one that's in the red here, but I have the stop placed right on the low today. and we'll just let it work. There's Hertz starting to get stronger. I want to add the Hertz. Couldn't get the limits on pullbacks. I'm willing to add at this 798 there. Boom, just added a little bit more there. Willing to add at 770s on the pullback. Now, ready to getting after it, guys. Look at the SPCE, really pushing up there to 460s. There's Hertz to 8. Now we're rocking and rolling. Let's have some fun, guys.
Yeah, everything is, again, like we mentioned, all we needed was the SPY to stop going down, and it did. So for the last 10 15 minutes, we've been just kind of chilling out, consolidating sideways for just a little bit, and we're trying to bounce. It's a weak bounce so far, but again, like we mentioned, that's all we need is the market just to chill out here, stop selling off, and then these kind of animal spirits can kind of pick right back up.
Yep. All right, guys, we're going to go for a half sell here in SPCE just to try to take some money off here. All right, I'm going to go half sell there, keep the rest break even, and just let this work here because these are all supposed to be runners, right? So I'm trying to at least take some cash and then let it try to run, right? Let it try to get the move there. There's Hertz starting to get the lift there. Now 810s looking really good here. We could still get another pullback. So I'm putting pullback fills on the 9 EMA here, but looking really good here as we start to lift off in Hertz.
All right, let's pop back in here. So yeah, the SPY is slowly holding on and grinding higher. The Qs just can't get it going. Just still trading right at lows. So large cap tech is having a bad time. So just make sure if you're focusing, you're trying to focus somewhere out there that's going to be doing a little bit better, because there's a lot of spaces out there that are doing fine, but it's just large cap tech is absolutely not in this environment right now. Tech is talking about OIH. Yeah, OIH breaking out to new highs here. I like the oil services names. I have some of this HESM as a swing. It's just pulled into this prior breakout zone, trying to see if that can dig in. But yeah, oil services are super interested as well. But oil as a whole hasn't really done anything in any way, shape, or form. You see, we got the commercials and that kind of thing down here. Just get rid of that. But just can't get over the VWAP here at all. And every time we get to this VWAP from all-time highs, just sells off. So we need something to kind of kick oil in the butt and get it moving in order for oil services, I think, to be that interesting. If we turn and move here, that makes this daily candle very interesting on the SPY, where we've come in, again, depending on how you define gap, whether it's yesterday's high or yesterday's close. If it's yesterday's high, then we've kind of done that, filled that gap, made everyone happy. So for me, as always, I'm watching to see, can we get back through VWAP, and then more importantly, back through these potential all-time highs that we're seeing here.
All right, guys, we're going to have a trader join us here. So like always, guys, let's have some fun. Let's let another trader join and welcome Josh Smith to the show. What's going on, man? How we doing? Some fun. Let's let another trader join and welcome Josh.
We're here in the stream there.
Doing good, but how are you?
Doing good. If you have our stream open, can you
feedback?
Close it?
Hold on, let me get this.
All right.
Yeah, if you have our
got it.
Yeah, if you have our show, just close our show there. It should be good now. There we go. We got. Let's see. You're muted, so whenever you're ready, you can unmute. All right. We'll get his audio fixed up here, guys. And just
all right, are we good?
There we go. Got you, Josh. A lot better. Get his audio. You got us? There you go. Still getting a little background. There we go. Got you, Josh. Let me help you out here. Let me see what I can do there.
Oh, I think he left.
He's in the background. Yeah, he'll come back in. Just got to fix the audio there.
Oh,
right,
I wasn't
guys,
sharing my
Lucid
chart.
Coming back. I did add the QMCO. It's a day, guys. Have some fun. Turn down that amp.
Me to YouTube.
No worries, guys. We'll get it rolling here. Sorry about that.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Headphones are key for this kind of thing. But yeah, QMCO is looking really cool here. Nice break there on that QMCO. And as I was talking about, I wasn't sharing my chart, but when I was,
I'm gonna step in the background really quickly, try to fix this up. Michael, you hold it down.
Absolutely, man. So we have oil futures going on. This is what I was talking about. This VWAP from the highs here. This is, again, this chart always gets weird because we went negative that one day. And then ever since then, we've hit this high. So I anchored a VWAP from that high. And you can see we just keep smashing it and falling down and smashing it and falling down, smashing it and falling down, kind of over and over and over and over again here. And just by doing that is, one thing that we need that to recover, and we need to start breaking through that. Now, alternatively, we have this floor that we've been putting in for a long time. So we continuously bounce off that floor. So this is, your typical wedge, your typical declining pattern. So it's possible that we just do nothing here in oil, which is fine because we have other energies to play. NLR being nuclear, you could just trade the URA. That's breaking out here as well. You could look at, right, we always talk about SMR and GEV. These are all energy plays. Even something like UNG is moving, but it's one of those things that, CL as a whole is having a hard time. So we started with this rant because TAC was talking about OIH, which is your oil services ETF. And that looks a little bit better here with oil services as opposed to just here, oil as oil itself. Nice little breakout there.
All right, I think we got it fixed here with Josh Smith. What's going on, man? How we doing?
What's up, boss? So here's the thing, and we're gonna have to work with this. And this is I know, and kind of I know the first time with myself, I can't hear you guys now. How am I going to hear you guys? Because I can't hear you now. So we're working with the technical difficulties here. So like you can probably hear me with no echo, but I can't hear you on the StreamYard.
Okay. All right. So
you
go now. I hear voice. Now I just hear your or I just see your voice, your mouse moving. So yeah, right. That's all I see right now. So we need to figure this out. For some reason, though, I can't hear you guys. I'm on the StreamYard.
Yeah, I got you, Josh.
So
I got you.
Let me get my.
You guys pop back.
I can hear you. So should I? And that's the thing.
I'll throw him in the background. I'll work with him. I'll work with Josh on this.
I got you. I got you, buddy. I got you. Yeah. So the SPY, how I talked about, right? I'm not trusting any sell off. I'm not trusting any rally. Well, we try to bounce there. We fail horribly. And then we just start to push here back to lows. And by pushing, right, we need this to resolve. So that's why I am not even confident that we found a low today until we can get through VWAP. That's what I need to see. And we're not doing that. So unfortunately, right, this sucks because I was all jacked up. Because I got Ozzy Osbourne in my ear here. Rest in peace. But B, coming into the day, seeing all these short squeeze names moving, it's, it looked like it could have been an epic rally day. But at least so far, it is not that. It is not that epic rally day, which is fine. We just need to, deal with what we're dealing with. Now, we've got some of these guys, Space, still moving, all of this. But to have like a big everything rally, the market really had to participate in some way. Now, we could later. Maybe this is one of those for the first hour of the day or so. You get this bleed, and then they get all the intraday traders all bared up. And then we move later. That could be the case. But so right now, this major low is what I'm watching here. We'll just take this and we'll just call it the low. And maybe change a little bit of a color here. Right, make it pink or something. But yeah, we have to hold this low, and then we have to break through VWAP right there. But for me to get very excited to the long side. Now, like I mentioned, we got Wolf. I've got that short. I've got LAZR short. I got AR short. So I'm pretty short here across the board from the day trading side of things. Obviously, from the swing trading side of things, I am quite often or pretty much exclusively long. It's very, very rare I'll take a short from the swing trading side of things. Call me a piker or whatever you want. I just get a little bit worried when when we get those shorts. So from the short side, just because you can see what happens from a swing short point of view. Imagine you shorted D-Nut yesterday and the thing just rips 20% for no reason, and then now is starting to fall apart. And what was the other one we were looking at? G Pro. That's one I want to keep an eye on here. We have this low right here, and how I said, hey, I wanted to get back through VWAP. This is why. It's not because there's any kind of magic in getting back through VWAP. Anyone who talks like that, just ignore them entirely. The point of it is it needs some sort of trigger event to say, okay, I'm going to take the bet that this low has formed, and I'm going to do so when we can get and hold back through VWAP. Until then, kind of stay out. And that's what a lot of people will use, VWAPs or moving averages, things like that for, to make sure that they, are looking at the right thing. Steph, every time Steph's posting something, I know it's going to be crazy. AMOD, yeah, talk about that, man. What do they do? Yeah, 100 and something % today. It's a pretty good move. Nice push, right? This is exactly what I was talking about, right? Spend the morning under VWAP. If you had just bought it as it broke through or even closed back through VWAP, that could have been your secured trigger to get in. Are these guys like YOLOing Farcoin or something? What's their confirmation of listing transfer to NASDAQ compliance? That was July 10th. So I'm not seeing any news today. So could just be moving for the sake of moving, but good for them. From $12 down to 97 cents, and now we're moving back up here through to the other side.
I think I might have got it fixed. Let's see the good old test.
Check. Mic 1, mic 2. Yay, we got it. So I do Zooms all the time, and I didn't realize, hey, you might want to go to like your speaker settings there. And then, yes, originally, unfortunately, I had you playing in the background. Of course, been teasing you all morning, and I was like, oh yeah, you do get that echo in that feed. So
yeah, no, it's
definitely
not your fault, man. And
yeah,
StreamYard loves to select like the most random mic that you've never used in your entire life or a speaker. It chooses just like my monitor. I'm like, who's gonna listen out of a monitor?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, there you go, man. Welcome to the show. Welcome to it, man. Feel free to share charts, anything you want to share. We're getting to the trading action. Of course, we've already been trading, getting after some names. I'm in some kind of those short interest, high flyers, and markets pulling back here. But let's see if we can catch a little bit and start to come back here. What are you seeing out there, Josh?
Well, I trade a lot of small cap stuff, so I'm in the small cap space a lot of the time, but I do move into the large cap space. But
yeah.
And then just with my eyesight, when my verbiage is, I call technical sound setups. And so I'm looking for something to form trends. I'm a big trend trader. We don't form a lot of trends here recently over the past few months. It's gotten away from that, and we seem to be more volatile with more kind of up and down reversal type movement, playing highs and lows such. So I don't like that action, to be honest. So I don't trade that much in large cap space here recently. And even in small caps, we've been a lot more volatile, seeing 200, 300, 500% spikers. I like that, but again, still not really building trends. So today, really what I've been looking at is not a lot. I haven't placed actually any trades today. And that's fine. And I'd kind of been telling my traders that when I stream, like, listen, there was a stretch in 2023 into 2024 where I was trading 6 times, 7 times a day. And I trade in pre-market in about an hour and a half or so after the opening bell, maybe 2. So we're talking like 2-3 hour space. I'm taking 6 to 7 trades. So it was clean action. I loved it. Made a few months in a row, made $100,000 in a row. And I remember Umar Ashraf back in the day. I did a seminar in 2022, and he was one of the presenters. And he said, there'll be a time in your trading career where you'll probably see times where you're just not trading a lot or at all. I was like, yeah, I've seen that, but oh, come on, not at all. Whatever, Umar, and I'm like, now I'm in that space and I've been trading long enough. I'm like, I'm finally in a space where I don't see a lot of what I like. And so that's the thing with stock trading. Everyone gets that FOMO, got to trade, want to trade, got to trade. And that's not stock trading. That's not investing. You've got to find what you are. That's what I always say, as always kind of talked about and likened it, analogy to like basketball. There's every point guard's different. Every shooting guard's different. Every center's different. Every goalie in soccer's different. Every quarterback's different. You got to find who you're going to be as a stock trader and let that be you day in, day out. And so if there's no setups that you'd want to trade, then you just don't trade. So that's kind of where I'm at, unfortunately, over the past 2 or 3 months or so.
Well, yeah. And that shows someone who's confident in their trading style, right? What you'll see with most traders, especially those who aren't confident in, what they do at all, they're bouncing around, right? They're going from setup to setup. They're going from, whatever. I think there's a certain level of confidence that says, listen, I'll make money eventually, right? I know my setup will come around. I'll take my shot. And, obviously I can't predict what will happen on any given trade, but eventually I'll make money. And that just, a lot of people ask how they get there. And I think it just comes with time and knowing that, right, if it worked before, it'll work again at some point. You say, got to have the patience to, sit on your hands and wait until that moment happens.
Right. Yeah. And what you're seeing on the spy right there, I'm actually looking at a play, and it's memes are unfortunately coming back around. So we're actually looking at, lo and behold, D-Nut, which is Krispy Kreme today. So if you want to pull that chart up, it has what you're looking at with that top. So you see that resistance up top, a lot like SPY. So where do you short, right? So you see the reversals up high, and then you see a big trend reversal and crack as well, right at the opening bell where we kind of cracking back through that VWAP. That's it. Yeah, right through there. That's kind of what if you're trading, that's what you're trading recently. But yeah, meme plays, yeehaw, Krispy Kreme, right?
Yeah, I got glazed over this morning. I was actually up like $100 on that one right at the open there. Got a little distracted, cut down on the D-Nut, but yeah, it's looking good. It's still coming down there. I could keep fading a little bit further there. Some small caps moving out there. Zoot Power, Z. Don't know what the hell this one does, but hey, it's on the top of the list here, up about 51%, and not looking too bad. These penny stock ones, yeah, sure.
Why not, right?
What do you think about these? I saw this one right now at 306. It looked good, at least for the setup wise. Rule of three, just technical analysis there. But now let's see if it really goes. These penny boys can get rocking. What are you looking at these small ones?
What I like to do a lot of the time would be kind of what we saw there at the opening bell on D-Nut. A lot of the time, and sorry if you do see, I do have 14 dogs. So yes, you will see dogs and maybe a couple of cats behind me. So if you do see that rummaging around, I'm already addressing that now. Yes.
Finally, someone that has a bigger zoo than I have. So I love to hear it.
Speaking of zoo and zoos, right? That's kind of funny, but right. Yeah. And you're right. Yeah. Technical sound, 52-week high, right over that mark from back in December and November. If you want to go back to that 52-week high, beautiful 52-week high breakout over that mark you're talking about there. Love that money, Mitch. And that's one thing you're looking at. So 52-week high. And then what you do is I call it a flat top, a plateau breakout, right? So you are also failing there throughout in market, right? You're failing pretty much at $3 with those upper shadows at 320. Those do scare me a little bit for bounce plays. What I typically would tell traders is look for a bounce play back though at 3, right? That's your original 52-week high, 305. Break out about 30, 35 cents, 40 cents above that. Now you can have a little trust. Plus what you're doing above, higher low pattern, right? You're building that higher low pattern. You got that trend line on the way up. You can trust that bounce play. Typically then what I'm looking for on the backside move is like I talked about, a trend line crack, an uptrend crack, reversal to the bottom side. So we know we've been moving in this uptrend for the past, an hour or so now, 45 minutes, 50 minutes or so. Then I just wait, have patience, right? We just talked about that. Thank you, Michael. That's what we do, have patience. This is what I know I'm good at. I just wait for my setup. Would be that trend line to VWAP crack. I can, as I tell traders, I laser lines in. I usually don't put tries. Every once in a while for them, I'll put like the trend line in, visibly put a line in. But I will look for that uptrend uptrend channel crack through the VWAP. So usually I call it a trend line to VWAP crack. And traders in my chat that follow me know what I'm talking about. And so once you get that reversal, especially back through that bearish side, which is bullish above, bearish below, we know the VWAP. And we've also been bouncing on that VWAP as we've been riding up this uptrend. That also lets me know it's been a bullish, figure in it. Only thing I'd worry about is probably that 260 area where you see a lot of support on the way down. But that's kind of how I base this off of. Find old resistance, use that as new support as we break out above it, that top flat plat breakout, right? And then go for either the breakout, or if you're too slow, don't like breakouts, they're a little too quick for you, go for the bounce play. And then find that pure bounce below at 2.6, and that's your other bounce opportunity. And then again, the other thing would be the uptrend channel crack through the VWAP. Those would be the 3 areas. If I'm like, hey, breaking down zoos right now, I'm going to look for a bounce play, look for the uptrend crack, or the then bounce play back down at 260.
So you mostly short, long, you're either side, whatever.
I would say now, used to when I first started trading, 2018, 2019, 2020. Those were my first 3 years. It was bounce plays. And it was usually that older, like right there, we just saw it, that old resistance becoming new support, putting limit orders in around that 3 to 305 area, waiting for it, that quick pullback to get filled. But now we see a lot, like the older I've gotten and you get more experience. And now back then, of course, it was all taught with all those gurus back in the day, was everyone was going long and they were teaching the breakouts and going long. And no one had shorting brokerages like you guys, because everyone had these $25,000+ accounts. Well, when you first start trading, do you have $25,000 to trade with usually, or $30,000? No. And so Now there's the but then you're playing broker fees and then the locate fees. It just gets so annoying. It's just one of those things that I would just never in my day would want to do as an early trader. So I've just moved to the short side, and that's where then you guys come around, and that's why I short. I would say 90% of my trades now are shorting, like this trend line crack. I'm sitting back right now, and actually I'll do this live with you guys right here. Once we crack that VWAP, I will be using Trade the Pool to get in on this uptrend channel crack through that VWAP. I'm waiting for that VWAP to crack now, and I call it candlestick confirmation. When we get candles to close and open below that certain area, the first candles to close and open, that's when I take my said trade.
Well, so that was going to be my question. So you're waiting for the candle to close. So what time frame? A 1 minute, a 2 minute? But that
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I love that because a lot of people are just so they've got so much FOMO. They want to buy the second it moves through a level or gets to a level or something. So I really, really like, you wait for the candle to close. Charles Dow taught us like 200 years ago now, right? It's the most important price,
Right. Yep. And that's it. Waiting for it to close. And I like 1 minute time frame. Early on, you're using the 2 minute. That's fine with me, but you want to use something where you're going to get a clean confirmation through that area. So I like usually generally the 1 minute time frame. So I'm waiting for that 1 minute right now below this VWAP, like right now, once we close, and now I'm entering my trade for the short side, which I just did, and in now at 278 for the short for that move back on down. And again, the only thing I'm worried about at this point would be the 260 mark. The 260 mark would be the only thing I'm worried about. And that would be a target price for me in 2,000 shares, just to go something smaller here. Haven't placed a trade today. And the reason also I'm going smaller is we're coming back from a reversal. Typically, I'm doing this now for you guys just to go small. I don't like when we get that pullback from 225 back down to support. I do like it, though, that we cracked the trend line and the VWAP at the same time. But what I'm talking about is the fact that we pulled back from, say, 330, red candle. So I feel like I've missed some of the short, right? I feel like some of that short has been missed. So what I typically do would be waiting for, like right now, I call it a shelf, or we can call it a channel to get built up, right? At this mark that we're at, and that would be your next area to wait for this to crack down. So to speak, it could almost be seen as a bear flag because the pole could be the red candles down, and right now we're building that flag below the VWAP.
So you mentioned, right, target 260. That's good.
Right.
So where's your stop there? What gets you out of this, either early or just straight for a stop loss?
Right now where we're at, and I'd go candlestick confirmation back over the 292 mark to 294 mark. So you can see those upper shadows. If you put your right there around 294, there's going to be an upper shit right there. That's going to be my stop loss right there. Those two upper shadows right there at 294 and 295. That's will tight. Keep me in. Yeah. Well, again, this is more of this is definitely a tighter trade. What I like about this is just trying to get a trade in with you guys. First time trading live, just trying to show you guys what I like and what I'm looking for on a typical day in, day out basis here. Now, again, in walking you through this trade, kind of like even again, what I typically take this, I would say if it's a shorter's market and we go back to like 2022 into 2023, where a lot of stuff was already fading and cracking down, and that was the trend, it's probably a no-brainer for sure. Right now, where we've been a little bit hotter, that's why I told you about what worries me is the fact that boom, that's just going to stop me out right there. There's a big spike. And so what I do is wait for a lot of times candlestick confirmation. But if I don't get the candlestick confirmation like that and it spikes through my area too quickly, I will then just get myself out of the play, and I'm not going to wait for the candle to confirm. I'm always waiting for candles to confirm over my area. So real quickly, see the big upper shadow that we're forming right now? I had to stop myself out. There's no way I'm going to stay on that trade, risk to reward like you're talking about. But what will happen here, and I've talked about this, and I know this is what I do in my live stream. It's just continuous talking through trades. What I typically do is wait for candlestick confirmation. So I couldn't because there's that big spike up. But generally speaking, like I do in my entries, I wait for that 294 mark. And if we move back over it, I'm going to wait for those candles to confirm, because sometimes what we'll do is we form these big upper shadows and we'll get this big reversal and sell off. And it's kind of what we call a fake out breakout in small caps. And a lot of traders, which obviously isn't happening here, but that's just walking you through a trade. I know it's a lot of information kind of at once, but that's typically what I'm looking for is a uptrend crack back through that VWAP. But again, we're right now, and this is what if you're in my live stream every day for the past 3 months, and I'm sure streamers on my Discord right now or on my YouTube, private YouTube, are going, don't short under support. How I've said, do not short under support. Trend line cracks are not working. It's just kind of like what I was saying to you guys.
Fake outs.
10, 15 minutes ago, right? Exactly. Playing reversals. Where's the best short at right now? That 330 top high of day, right?
Yeah.
That's where the best shorts are at. And so any trader out there trying to trade trends right now, whether you're trading, trading like you're getting that. So many people out, because I do one-on-ones as well, talking about the Zoom, we're facing this over the past month, trying to trade, those reversals through the uptrend crack, and this is what you're getting. You're getting fake outs, and it's coming right back up. But I love seeing that. I don't know how often you guys see that. How often you'll see a trend line that cracks, we come right back up into that old trend line, and look how that old trend line is now resistance.
And that's like TA 101, right? Is if you can get that, and it generally makes sense, if you can cut yourself out and then maybe get back in, right? I'd rather lose one, make one, than lose one big, right? So I think, regardless what happens next, that was the right move.
Yep.
You had a tight stop, you're honoring that.
And then look at that. And then look at that. And the reversals. And this is where this just speaks to what we've been talking about. Reversals are if you're looking to short right now, this is where it's at. You're shorting into resistance and getting that quick move right back on down, and then taking profit once you get into support areas.
All right, guys, just took a little bit of some G Pro there. The SPY did tick down there, so keep your eyes to see if we go back below 630s, just in case for a further dip down. Still riding HIMS on the swing, guys. I got some positions on. A lot of these smaller positions just kind of hanging in there. Hertz doing pretty good here. We'll see if that can really rip above the 8s. Of course, these are kind of your high flyers that could take off. I'm looking for a really strong move. We haven't gotten it just yet. I think the Qs need a little strength, and they just can't get above VWAP. That's what I'm a little concerned about, because a lot of times I tell you guys, if we can't get back to VWAP, that's not a bueno sign there, especially on the overall market, just trying to struggle there. So we'll see if we go for some further decline.
Yeah, it's the divergence is nuts here, right? So the SPY is still grinding higher. It's gotten through VWAP. Let's see if it can hold that kind of VWAP push. And then Dow doing fine. We even have IWM up 1%, which IWM sucks. So the fact that it can go up a full 1% is pretty wild on a day that the Qs are down. And we saw this yesterday too, just a massive diversion from large cap tech to smaller names, which I'm all about. I think Josh here is all about as well. I'd love to trade the smaller guys and the bigger guys. So I'm okay if we get, NVIDIA, Apple kind of pulling back, and in exchange we get the IWM, which is 2,000 small names ripping. I'll take that all day.
There you go. Got Hertz going to the 8s and now 18s. Let's get it, team. If you guys are joining in over from Josh's side, it's good to see you guys in the chat. Saw some names and some love for you in the chat. That's what it's all about. Even Michael Katz here in the house, going with a little bit of some Qs. Let's go trade the pool. Let's see what we can do today. And
what was wild is he said Qs long.
Yeah.
If you ever watch Michael's trading, being long is a rarity. So that makes me really interested that maybe we are at a bottom. If the perma bear is going to flip and buy something, then we're probably in for a good move.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Definitely looking into the market today to see what's leading or doing well, hanging in there. HIMS is one name that I still got on the swing. Doing really well on that one, guys. I got that one at 51.96. It traded all the way up as high as almost 55 here, 54.16, 54.20s. So up about like $3 on that name. Of course, this is a swing, so it's smaller position, but looking good there in HIMS. As HIMS is, of course, a high short interest name. What you got there? What you got?
Just showing the robot's progress. So
the robot.
The only long we have is this whopping 1 share of MEDP. The rest is to the short side again, because a lot of the systems I'm building are mean reverting in nature. So short laser, wolf, AR, and GELD. And I don't even know what this GLD is, but this is the ultimate loser. I think we're sitting up around like $100 or so on those positions. So simple ideas, just looking for days that close really, really aggressive, and then an overextension after that on some of those names. So you'll see the same with a lot of this, like Wolf. Huge day yesterday. We shorted a little bit up here today, and then LAZR. So I'm kind of worried about some of these positions because it ranks the high flyers, and a lot of those are these crazy meme names. So far it's holding on, and other than that, having to intervene in the morning because something went wrong with my code, everything has been completely hands off. And that is the goal with this account, is to never touch a button and potentially pass an eval. That'll be a really cool challenge. I think really cool video series too.
All right, starting to see some names coming back on the tape there. Some smaller names starting to come back there. We'll see what happens to see if we get some more kind of pushes out there. Looking around.
So Josh, how do you find stocks, right? Are you you build a list on a pre-market kind of guy? Are you watching scanners intraday? How is it that you're making sure that you're not missing something or following your plan? What's your scan process like?
Right. So every morning, well, I've been doing this since, well, for a while, been obviously doing the small cap stuff, but then since 2023, I do this thing. It's called morning alerts for traders. And so since then, because I have a lot of traders trading large cap. So every day I'm doing like a SPY, then running through the alphabet with like Apple, AMD, Amazon. ARM was good for a while. It's kind of gotten gross and choppy recently. Circle's kind of taken its place. CRCL's been great. But then, just kind of the main hitters, right? Because I know there's traders across the board that may be trading the Qs one day. They're trading Tesla every day. Or they're trading NVDA every day. Or they're trading Apple every day or whatever it may be. So I'll break those plays down every day, about 10 or so large cap plays. But for small cap plays, yeah, I just hit up. I don't have any scanners. I essentially am using trade ideas. There's Stock Rocks, I think it is. It's free every day on here on YouTube, which I love. I always promote free stuff like you guys. It's free. Hey, it's free information. Go use it. I love promoting other people. That's free information for traders that can use it. So that's all I use every day is that. And so you can set it up. I use Thinkorswim. There's a Thinkorswim scanner system, but every day I just go to. I used to be on Tradecaster.com. But anyway, all I am doing is looking at the top gainer board. So I'd go over, to whoever has traded is, and I had them for a while. But I'm just looking at the top gainers. I go up every morning about an hour and a half before the opening bell, and I'm looking at the top 3, 4, 5 gainers on the day, and then look at the chart. I'm all about chart. There are some indicator studies I use. Of course, the VWAP. I love Thinkorswim because it has the upper and lower VWAP bands. Really helps me identify when a play's been caught or trapped, so to speak, when it starts spiking up. Not big on the day moving averages. You can use them on the daily. There are times when, again, like the stock market and the time frames we're in and the environment we're in, are they even working? Do they even show any use or not? Kind of like right now we just talked about, where shorting's the king is up top, not trend reversals or cracks. And so sometimes moving averages really aren't even a thing and don't really help out. And so really I just use the chart. So I go to trade ideas essentially, or whatever you want to use, and find the top 3, 4 gap uppers on the day, whatever they are, and then just start breaking the chart down. And then sometimes those fade off, and it'll be random plays that you play out of nowhere that just kind of start spiking up for that day. But that's generally what I'm doing and have been since 2017, 2018 when I first started. I'm just looking at the top gainers on the day, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many there are. Start breaking the charts down immediately. And looking for bounce plays, looking for breakouts, looking for where is the short, where's support, where's resistance.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to overcomplicate it. That makes perfect sense, right? The ones that are on that top gainer list, we've got them, in everywhere. You can find just the top gainers here or there, and
Right.
that's where focus is going to be, right? Because that's what most traders are doing. Is because if it's in the top gainers, it's had some sort of news catalyst out there. You don't even really need to be too interested in what it is, but that it's important because that's what everyone's watching.
Yeah, I'm looking for that's the thing too with volume equals, usually most times, especially for small caps, you're always going to have it in large caps. So again, like HIMS, you can find a HIMS on a day in, day out basis, whether it's PLTR or whatever it might be, right? You're going to find that kind of mid cappy, large cap play on a day in, day out basis. So it's got volume. But small caps, that's it. You got to have volume, right? To make technical sound setups and movement. Without volume, you don't have traders. Without traders, you don't have good setups. Without good setups, you just have terrible trades. And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for trades that have good setups. PLTR is pretty ugly today. Yeah, it is. I like terrible example for today. But, it's moved up pretty nicely to all-time highs. But it's one of those things where, like, HIMS is looking good today. They're actually talking about it in my Discord as well. So good job there, Mitch and Mike. But, yeah, that's one of those things where, you're going to find trades that have what you're looking for is volume, and consistent volume. And then you can find good setups, usually, generally speaking. Kind of like right now, and literally going back to zoos. I'm looking back at it. I'll leave it alone. That's where that FOMO kind of kicks in. You want to trade. Well, it's going to crack down to my 260. It's at 270s now. It's about to go down to my 260 mark. But it's got that inconsistent volume on zoos. So you have volume and then it's down. And you have volume and it's down. So when you have that inconsistent volume up and down, it leads to an inconsistent up and down play. And that's kind of where we've been at recently, because in small caps, we've been looking at a lot of different tickers day in, day out. 2 here, 3 there, 4, some days 7 or 8. I've got my freaking flex grid completely maxed out on both sides, looking at 8 tickers. And I'm like, but this is spike. And mob shift over here. Now the mob's here. And so that's why shorting the top has been king, because you're developing 5, 10, 15, 20-minute trends where it's oh, and then Drew, and then oh, and then Drew, and then oh, and Drew, versus just like, can we just stay on one ticker?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, for small caps, why they're risky, you got to be patient. You got to have discipline. You got to sit back and wait for your setups.
That's exactly it, man. It's about a game about being patient and waiting to hit the gas pedal, and then being able to also hit the gas pedal when you're ready. Right. I think that's the problem too, is that some traders then, yeah, they get passive, but then they get stuck also and thinking about only risk, and they get almost risk adverse and they just can't take on risk either. That's the one thing with these penny stock that I see some traders struggle with. How do you tell traders to maybe get around some of those moments, or what do you use to maybe distinguish between what's higher quality or lower quality?
Two things. Back with first question with the traders. Traders need to learn to take breaks and when they're good and when they're not good. So you always have to journal and track, right? Go over find what you're doing right. It only took me 2 months. I know some traders it takes longer, but at first it took me about 2 months to go, dude, you suck at everything but bounce plays. Like, if you're gonna do this, don't do that, right? Some traders, like you're saying, just have that whatever it is in that mindset. And that's why this is so mental to where like, no, I want to be good at breakouts. I'm like, you're not though. So just don't do them. Like, you can't shoot the three, just pass the rock off to the guy that can shoot the three. Be the point guard, just dish it, right?
Nope.
And you got to figure that out. And it's hard for traders to distinguish that. So that's the first thing. You need to journal and track. And then learn with that journaling tracking system, you got to make sure what times of the days you're trading and realize where your W's are at, where your L's are at. Share size too as well, right? What setups you're trading. That should help eliminate some of that process of what to trade to as well, kind of to your second question. So you know what to trade and when to trade it. And I'll get to that, what looks good. But then second, you get like back to the time frame. You got to step away. Traders, when they first start, want to be here at 4 a.m. to go till 4 p.m. And that's just going to burn you out big time. Yeah. Don't do it. Again, find where you're good at. If it is pre-market, be here from 4 to 8. If it's opening bell, be here from 7 to 9, 7 to 10. If it's you wait for stuff to slow down, be here from 10 to 12 or 10 to 1, whatever. If it's, hey, I got stuff to do, don't force it. Be here. There's stuff that moves. There's stuff that moves at lunch and power hour. So you just find your time of the day and you trade it. And so those are the two things that a lot of traders need to look for, is journaling and tracking and figuring out what they're good at. And then secondly, get away and move out of this setup. If you take a loss like I did at first, I got up out of the room, because what do you do most times? Oh, I lost. I got to make that back when you first start. Well, that's just going to lead to another loss most likely. Get up out of the office, get you 14 dogs or whatever in here. Go take a walk with one of them, right? Relax. Woosah, Captain. Woosah, right? Relax for a little bit. And back to what you're saying before that, an old school song, hopefully you guys have heard, your old dad or someone played. You got to know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. And for whatever reason, people just don't know what a stop loss is and know when to fold them. And that's key in a lot of stock trading, because you get the hold and hope strategy, unfortunately. So those will be the things I say you got to work on early on. Notice it, face it in the mirror, look at yourself and say, here's what I got to fix. And you can do it. And then what looks good? Consistent volume. I wouldn't say there's a good play today that has a good setup overall. We haven't had that. And so like right now would be like hymns, because it does have good volume. Hymns would be good. Hymns is a good setup. Honestly, if you're looking for a chart right now to trade, I would say, hey, that is what I'd be looking for. If you're looking for a chart today, hymns looks good. I like hymns. That's a good setup. We've built a bull flat. We can just look at that and that looks good today. But then there are charts like, again, kind of like we'll go to like zoos or, some of these small cap plays, most large cap plays. Let's just go to that. Large cap plays, since they have good volume. What I'm looking for on a day in, day out basis isn't something like, and I'll tell you to pull up something, Meta. Yeah. Pull up Meta right now. Pull up Meta. I don't care what time frame you have Meta in. But pull up, you can probably pull up Apple. I think Apple's been ugly on a day in, day out basis too. Yeah. Apple's okay today. But Meta, pull up Meta. And I'll go to like a 3-minute chart for Meta. Go to like a 3-minute chart so you can look at just the day itself, like just today.
There you are.
All right. Where are you trading? Unless you're trading that high of day reversal, that low of, like, I run. If I see that, that's a stage 5 clear. And hopefully you guys have seen Wedding Crashers. That is get the heck out of town. Get out of here. That's just no. That's just not, I don't trade that. There's just too up and down choppy movement. Now, there are traders in the world that do trade range and they like the chop. That is just, I can't trade that. That's not what I'm looking for. I want something like hymns that has moved up and a nice good, if you want to go to Hims now and keep it in this like 3-minute time frame. And it formed a nice, good uptrend channel that was formed a nice higher low pattern into that bullish flag, that pennant flag, whatever you want to call that ascending triangle in the first, 20, 30 minutes of the day. Then we squeeze from that up into another bull flag. And then we break that bull flag. And now we're on another bull flag, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot easier and cleaner looking chart. You've got not only consistent volume, but you've got chart to trade and bounce plays to look for. That's what I'd be looking for, something like this. How we see a lot of this on a day in, day out basis, in my opinion, no. But Hims is running. That's a beautiful Hims.
Definitely, we'll see if it can continue to run. I think it could fill the gap, and it's a good name today, especially with healthcare doing pretty well. So that gap fill would be a really nice one. We'll see what happens with that one.
XLV
also,
is really holding.
Healthcare is leading the market, so that can
gap.
That's not going to hurt it, at least for sure. And biotech is a leading industry, so you're seeing names there doing really well. BNTX, names like that, like VRTX. And of course, with that, you're going to have some of your smaller biotechs also shooting this Pally, VYNE, Vine Therapeutics. So this is definitely affecting some of these names. So if you're in these spaces, at least you know that this was like a high short interest one. RNAS, look at it, right? Definitely starting to actually hold above 13s now. Could be a good look. We'll see if it starts to really rock and roll. This thing went from 13 or from like $12 pretty much to 15 in 15 minutes. So definitely a fast move in this one. RNAS, look at the volume too, right? So the volume pickup tells you, hey, it's at least getting traded, that's for sure. And that Hims is just rocketing, man. Good look on Hims today. Definitely riding that wave.
Hims got to have a herd. I can't believe they didn't. The Hims has got to have a herd. I mean, come on now, Hims. Let's get with the program.
Yeah, I think they started with Hims, right? And then they were like, we need to add the hers.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It'd be awesome to kind of have like the ETF to where it's like $10 or $15, so it run, where it would run with him. So like, oh, you can't afford Hims, go trade hers. It's only $15. I love those sympathy plays or ETF plays where you have like Tesla, but you can go play TSSL. You don't have to trade Tesla. You can go to TSSL if you want to, right?
I like Tesla today. If we can recover the Qs here, doesn't look bad. I think it might be one of those days where the first hour of the day is all bearish, and then all of a sudden, boom, right after the first hour of the day, the algos get turned on, and there we go. And another thing is we're starting to see some bottoming action, right, in this area for the Qs. Now we're starting to really start to whip back. What will I look for? Can you recover VWAP? That's that dotted line there. Let's actually recover VWAP. Make it back to the open. If you do that, you start to shake all that bears that are out there hiding. They're going raw, but guess what? They don't go raw for too long in this market. We'll see what happens out there. You got to be quick.
Well, just be careful with Tesla, right? Is that trade it if you want to trade it, but we do have earnings, and I just know that after sometimes the day before earnings, you just get a choppy, ugly mess that is no fun. So, right, trade it if you like it. Just know that we got that going on right after the close, so they could just be annoying until then.
Oh man, it's gonna be hard not to just close some of this Hims. 30 shares, I'm up almost $100. So it's like, man, this thing is now really rocking and rolling, guys. So it made it all the way up to the top end of the daily Bollinger Band. So we are definitely on the break out there. Look at the hourly candle, straight hour candles up, looking good there. Hope somebody out there in your Discord is cashing in on this one, Josh.
Oh yeah, they were. They're talking about the squeeze earlier, so yeah, they definitely.
That's that AK, baby.
And then, speaking of, I don't even own a gun. I never. People ask it all the time. Where'd you come up with the name? I'm like, I have no idea. It's my wife's first initials. Her name's, it's Avery, and it was AKS is her, her initials. And so I was like, maybe that. I'd like maybe the Goldeneye, because Goldeneye back Nintendo 64.
The Golden AK.
I was like, okay, yeah,
I don't know. AK.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know where that came from when I first started streaming, but that just came, and then it stuck.
All right, we'll see this Virgin Galactic. This is the one that I was able to cash on, guys. Made close to like 200 on this name. Looking to maybe get back in if it can get back to 440s. It just slowed down. The volume was there, and then it just completely fell off there. So we need the market to get going. We need something to start moving. I'll tell you what doesn't want to stop. Hims. That thing's just straight green bar. It said, you know what? We'll go Doji. Nah, what the hell? We're gonna keep this party going here.
Rip it.
And for me on Tesla, the biggest thing is I look for a lot of times when people don't want it. That's usually when it makes a move, man. So I'm looking to see if maybe it could just do a quick rip to like 338. And then tonight I would never be in it. Tesla on earnings is just scary business. Especially in the after hours when you're going to get your limits to go wide, and then it's just going to be very hard to trade. It's just near impossible to trade after hours. We'll see what happens. And overall, earnings, don't mind playing them into earnings or a couple days after, but earnings plays are scary business, guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Him seems like a 55 magnet. May get a hair over that. But yeah, what a move. But yeah,
I'm looking for this Hertz. What do you think about this Hertz? This is kind of more up your alley, at least the way that the setup is working and things. Right. I'm already in it, right? Full disclosure, and 798s. But how do you see this chart, right? And if you want, Josh, you can share your charts if you want to kind of show us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll go ahead and share for. I'll do mine over here. I'll do my thinker.
You can do present at the bottom. You'll hit that. Then you can share screen. You'll have entire screen or windows that you can select at the top if you hit the tab.
Cool. Share screen. Let's go to a window. Yep. Love it.
You give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go, my friend.
You're good.
Long short Planet Fitness. That's
short Planet Fitness. I like it. I like it.
Good to go.
Another thing with Planet Fitness is that they do this thing in the summer where they let all the kids in. That scares so many of the employee of the members away. Yes. So that could be a nice little short there, just to give you some insight on Planet Fitness. But yeah, what's up, man? Let's talk some Hertz. I'm gonna put your charts up here. Let's take a look here from the man himself, taking down mine. Here's Josh up. Let's go.
Hey, first off, check out the gummy bear AK-47 we got.
What? Oh, I like it. I like it.
Got the mini logos coming out, a little ammunition there, right? Cool.
Who doesn't like their sour, baby? Oh, I like them. I like the little M3 in the back there. Oh
yeah, dude. Yeah, love some BMW. Got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in here. We're keeping it, kid style. Like
anybody that's actually driven an M3 and power shifted 9,000 RPMs. Yeah.
So it's fun. It's fun. It does what your face is doing right now. Does that every single time you do it? You just can't help but this is bullish. I see this as bullish. And y'all, a lot of people ask me about the upper and lower VWAP bands. They're very similar to Bollinger bands. They're very close. They act similar in my opinion. Yep. They act, but I just left them because at first, like anyone, you're trying all these moving averages, and I put the Bollinger band. You're trying so much. And Thinkorswim comes with the upper and lower band. It lets me know when to play. And this is what I teach. You can see when it starts flattening out, and you get about 2 or 3 candles worth of this flat. What do we get? Reversal, right? Flat. Okay, so I love that. This is bullish, though. This, to me, staircasing up as we are. I call it staircasing up. That's the term you can kind of see here. I'm sure people have verbalized that before to you guys. It did crack this little uptrend that I see, right? We could even go in, and I like to do this to see how beautiful and technically sound that trend line was. Well, that's pretty parallel of a trend line. You could even come in here also if you wanted to and find that. My dad calls it midline drop in golf. So when my dad would shank a ball out to the woods, do you think he's going to find it? No. He would just kind of put it halfway in between the fairway where he shanked it out into the woods and call midline drop and would just drop the ball about somewhere, almost essentially in the fairway, But I'm like, Dad, that's not midline drop. That ball was way over there. It's not midline. What are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, whatever. He just drops the ball. But you can get what I'm saying, right? We get this mid area of resistance. So if we ever reclaim this uptrend, where's your first resistance line? Well, it's going to be back into this uptrend channel, which is right there. So regardless, still bullish that we cracked this uptrend channel. I just kind of wanted to go over that so you can see how gorgeous this uptrend channel was for the first hour of the day. Now we're kind of trying, you can tell we're starting to form a new uptrend that starts somewhere in here. You could maybe say we also have what I call a shelf, or essentially call it a channel base at 805. This 100% reeks of bullish in my opinion. I would tell a lot of traders, if once we get to about 11, I'm Central Standard Time, so that's what time you see is Central. So when this gets to about 11 my time, which we're getting close to, and onward, If we stay like we are, and I call this tiers above the VWAP. This is your first bounce above the VWAP, in my opinion. First true bounce. This is, how far we went up. This is your second bounce. We're on our third tier above the VWAP. Now, it's not that far above the VWAP, but we are 3 tiers, 3 bounces above the VWAP. If we go for a fourth one, you'd be a fool. You'd just be fool's gold to go short, right? You just leave it alone. And then at that point, what you're about to get, it seems like right here, my friend, that next level up, that 4th tier up. And so it does seem bullish. Seems like it wants to get back up into this uptrend channel right here. And so there we go. And so this reeks of bullish, in my opinion. You're good. Sit tight. Then what I do is I just come back here on a 1 year, 1 day and find charting and go, where could you fail at? Well, right here, reeks right out of the gate right there. This upper shadow, the high that day is 8:45. Well, also at 8:45, you come back in here, go the 1 minute, go the 3 minute, 2 minute, whatever. Oh, that would be the midline drop resistance line of this uptrend. So in my opinion, we're probably going to reclaim this, go to this 8:45 mark, fail, come back down, bounce on this trend line, and reclaim this uptrend channel in the next 30 minutes. Let's see if it happens.
It's an interesting profit target strategy there. I actually haven't heard that. I haven't seen that trend line approach for a profit target strategy for a while. So yeah, it's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Well, hey, take me back. Like, my name's Josh. I work with Moses, right? Okay, it's old school stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I always say is that trading goes in waves. And what you're seeing there is the waves, and almost expecting the wave is important. This is why I talk about the rule of 3. I talk about it all the time in charts, that I see these like kind of drives, pullbacks, drive, pullbacks, drive, pullbacks. You want to see that consolidation working for you and using those levels to essentially understand the trade first, not just take the trade, where I see a lot of traders do. They take the trade really quickly into that setup versus just looking at it. Let it set up really and tell you, hey, buyers are here. Selling is happening every time it gets above this, right? You see that trend line. Then you can work towards the kind of the tightness where the bands and the volatility contracts. And then you're looking for that expansion, right? And I think that's what we're getting here now. Now, the key is, how far does the expansion go, right? That is always a wonder. You can use kind of measurement tools, things like that. But I like your approach of just using the trend line and looking for that next wave to sell into.
Right. And if you're holding this, and so back to real quickly, the rap song, bands and make a dance. Bands. That's
what I talk about all the time, man.
And
there's levels to this game, man. There's levels to this game.
Right. And look at him, as we talked about, where I said Magnet at 55 maybe over. It's like it wants to chase into that. And then if you're holding this, Hertz, I mean, that'd be a target to where you want to take some, right? Like, we're probably going to get there soon, this 8:45, whatever you want to call that mark. Then 8:75 rolled. So it's an area I see in small caps all the time, resist and fail there. That would be your next target. And then ultimately, with you into tomorrow, right, or whatever your goal would be, at least in my opinion, would be boom. There you go, right there at 940. So I wasn't.
Well, let's have some fun. Let's take some profits. That's what it's all about. Sometimes you got to take some cash. Let's take some cash right here. Boom. Just took some off there. We were up like 5%. Just took off some there. Oh, actually, we went for a little bit of an ad there. We got excited there. Let's just cash that in here.
Done it all the time. All the time.
Well, let's let the 30 seconds go here so that I can at least cash in here. But going to start cashing some here and then riding it up. Open this day trade up today. It was up more than 5%. The ad, of course, adjusting there, but you see it 3.7 right now, almost 4%. And I mean, if you can get 5% in a day, I feel like some traders, they get a little too picky. They get too excited about that. They don't just take the money and run. So, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take some money there. Just paid myself there in the swing account. Of course, this is only a $10,000 account. So, hey, not a bad way to just keep riding the waves there. Good trend in HIMS. We'll see if it can keep going. Now, of course, I'm riding that Hertz ride. Let's see what happens on that Hertz. It hit the 831, stopped right there, right above that. What are we looking at now? What are we looking at, Josh? What's Hertz showing up there? Next level.
For like resistance on the way up.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion, I'd be watching for this on the way down. It's a slower mover. This is a bigger float, if I'm not mistaken. It's a big daddy. So it's not. That's another reason why you'd want to be careful shorting this. You're not going to usually get a good short on those bigger flow plays. 815 to around this 805 mark is going to be your key for the support. this old
Yeah.
resistance support area, right? I think it holds that moving into, like I said, the next 30, 40 minutes, watching to reclaim this uptrend channel. And again, I think we get to 845. And and we'll do it, if we expand far enough and the more we move, what's going to happen to this trend line right here? It's going to keep going up. Where's it going to go to? That 875 area. So in my opinion, I'd watch for this to pop, hit into this 845 upper VWAP band, kind of meander around, and then get to our 875 roll by end of day, if not lunch.
All right. Like always, guys, you guys can catch up with us. So that as you see, the time just flew. That's how it happens when we're having fun, guys.
That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
A good time talking to you, Josh. I had a great time bringing you on. Of course, we always have a good time here. And Josh, where could traders find you if they want to learn a little bit more about what you do?
Yep. So it's Instagram would be at Josh Smith Trades. So Instagram is Josh Smith Trades. Very simple. I have my website, which is primetradinginvestment.com. So that's primetradinginvestments.com. I'll make sure there's an S on the end. I want to make sure. I was like, I put it. Yeah, it's investments. Yeah. So primetradinginvestments.com. You'll see it as soon as you pull up. You'll see my AK-47 logo that has a little bit of a Thanos theme to it. I like to be the bad guy, the dark side. And then, so that's it. Prime Trading Investments. YouTube, look me up, AK-47, Prime Trading Investments. Instagram is at Josh Smith Trades. Now I do TikTok, same thing. Yeah, same thing. Josh Smith Trades on TikTok. I'm not big on X and all that. Never was. I'm pretty much just on Facebook, like an old guy, which I've been there from like day one when I only had like a college email address. And then I'm on Instagram a lot, and I'm on YouTube a lot. And if you want to follow me and get my morning alerts, you want to get my one-on-one help, you want to watch my live stream, go to primetradinginvestments.com and sign up. And hopefully I can join you guys more often. I love this. This was great.
Yeah, definitely fun, guys. Threw up there the Instagram at least, so you guys have one directly. You guys can just click on there and get on over.
Yeah, let me put here's my website. So I didn't think about that. So boom, copy, paste, boom, and here you go, my friends and family. Anyone that's out there, there is the website right there. So yeah.
All right, guys. You guys have a great one. Thank you for coming on, Josh. You have a good one, and we'll have you back on, my friend. Definitely smash the like, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. We'll get you guys over, of course. Get over to the Discord if you want to keep trading. We always have our Discord down below. You should see a link to get on over there. And like always, we'll keep battling. And check out Michael Katz's interview. If you guys didn't catch his interview, he did a really good interview on small caps, and he actually took data, right, from the data that we have, right? How are small cap traders winning? Take a look at that. You can find that right here on Trade the Pools channel. Hit the subscribe button. We'll be back like always tomorrow. It was a fun day, and it's one of those days where you snap and it's 11 o'clock. Trading will be back tomorrow. Always stay safe out there, traders. Have a good time. Keep learning from experiences right here on Trade the Pool. See you next time.